Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to all of you on the fifth day of 7 days Executive Development Program. My sincere gratitude and thanks to ICAI President C.A. Nehar Jambusaria sir, ICAI Vice President C.A. Dr. Devashish Mitra sir, the Committee for Members in Industry and Business, Chairman, Central Council Member C.A. Hansraj Chugh sir, Central Council Member Vice Chairman C.A. Durgesh Kabra sir. This 7 days program, more than half of the structure is completed. And your encouragement and participation, as I'm always saying every day, is making each day greater. And also your interest is gaining, and I'm sure your knowledge is also gaining. As a brainchild of our PMIB Chairman and Vice Chairman Chugh sir and Kabra sir has really done wonders to each one of us. Not only you as a young professionals are learning, but also as faculties are also learning with you. The senior members who are attending, they are also learning. And it's making a huge impact in our lives. Today, we have two sessions where we will start with CA Rashita, and then we move on to the public speaking with Nisha. So, before I invite CA Rashita to speak with us, to share her knowledge, allow me to share her profile. She is a chartered accountant, qualified from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and she is engaged as a lecturer in Middlesex University in Dubai. Her subjects for undergrads is IFRS and Business Finance, and for postgrad students, it's valuation and corporate finance. She has been helping overseas office in Dubai for costing and financial management for IPC students, accounts and statistics for foundation students. She is known for, I say that she is the one who no one else can teach better costing than her. I made a statement that there are many students. I do not know how many of the students here have scored more than 80 marks in intermediate of costing, but I have seen many cases here in Dubai. Right, so she is a costing expert. Her academic highlights are All India Rank 1 in CA Foundation examination, rank 29 in intermediate level examination, and rank 5 in CA final examination in May 2002, and was awarded Best Lady Candidate by ICAI for meritorious performance in CA foundation and final examination in 1999 and 2002. She had also completed her certification course in IFRS, and she is also a trainer of IFRS for members here in UAE. So please help me welcome, with a virtual round of applause, CA Rashita for sharing her wonderful knowledge in the next 90 minutes. CA Rashita, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pradeep ji, for that kind words. So, good evening, my young fellow Chartered Accountants. Welcome to Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, to day 5 of this Executive Development Program. My first advice to you is stay safe. That's advice number 1, decision making number 1 that we are going to do today. So I hope all of you are safe. That's of prime number 1 importance. A big job has been done by our committee for members in industry and business So once again, to reiterate what Pradeep ji said, a big thank you going out to the committee members, Chairman C.A. Hansraj, Vice Chairman C.A. Durgesh Kabra. I also want to thank here our C.A. Pradeep ji. He's in fact our Regional Director for Middle East and Africa, who has been coordinating this event. C.A. Rangnath sir, who's also joining us. There are a lot of fellow chartered accountants who are here, and to the technical team who is constantly working to ensure an uninterrupted 3 hours for you. So a big round of applause to all of them. What is our session today? I think I'm a person with less of cliches. You've already had sufficient number of sessions on motivation, big picture. I did drop in quite a few interesting sessions. All the sessions had its own fantastic merits. So today I'm going to tell you, so all this while you were sitting back, relaxing and enjoying, watching it like a Netflix movie. So today you have to a little bit sit straight because it's going to be a little bit of a technical session, and in particular,
recording has started.
Preparing you from the perspective of the interview. All right, just few minutes. I'm going to share my screen. I hope, can you see my screen, C.A. Pradeep sir? Can I put it on slide board?
Yeah, it is visible.
All right, thank you very much. I'm just moving it on these. Yeah, perfect. Let's begin. So our topic for the day is strategic. That's a big word, isn't it? Cost management and decision making. Just beginning with a disclaimer. I have used some images in this presentation. You guys know that a picture speaks 1,000 words. We are miles away. So it's easy to connect through pictures. These pictures taken from Google Images, these are just meant for illustration and not meant for any circulation or commercial purposes. What to expect from me in the next 90 minutes? As the name suggests, cost management. So it's to do with costing, isn't it? So I'll give you an overview of the job profile of a costing professional. Then I move to an employer perspective. What is it that an employer in an interview is looking when they hire somebody for an internal role? Everything is easier said than done. So I'm going to demonstrate it with 2 simple case studies. So buckle up your seat belts, and I'll finally touch upon some new trends which could be tested in an interview. It's good to know. And we'll leave sufficient time for Q&A. And I hope this session is going to be interactive. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. Do put it in the chat box. Doesn't matter. The good thing of decision making is don't worry whether it's right or wrong. So put it in the chat box. Pradeep sir will, at regular intervals, will stop and read out those messages. All right. So the key to success is interact, participate. With that in mind, let's begin. You are on an interview platform. So either you are looking for a career in an audit firm. Now, an audit firm career, all of you have experience, isn't it? All of you have 3 years of articleship experience, so you know how the job is going to be in an audit firm. Some of you are looking for an audit firm career, that's fine. Today's session is, what if you are looking for a role in a corporate organization? In a corporate, you have a CA could be hired for compliance, like a policeman. You might be asked to prepare financial reports complying with Ind AS, if it's an MNC with IFRS. Or you may be preparing reports for taxation purposes, getting ready for tax audits. Could be GST. If you're a listed company, it may be compliance with SEBI, preparing reports for SEBI stock markets. So if you're going to take up that role, then management is just one stakeholder, you are addressing a lot of external stakeholders. That's not the focus of the session today. My session is the picture that you can see on the right. The second type of job profile that a CA does in a corporate is you do a support function. Or in other words, you're a consultant. You're supporting whom? You're supporting the company. So 360-degree around you, the stakeholder is the company. So remember point number one, if you are hired for an internal role, your stakeholder is the company. You have to visualize yourself as a consultant, an analyst, doing a support function. What kind of support function will you do? As you can see from my next slide, why do organizations need a costing expert? Coming to our topic. What could be the job profile that you would get or that would be advertised? You can see that it is a pyramid, which means at the lowest level, you will be involved in cost ascertainment. When I say cost ascertainment, Ms. Rashida, is it going to be simply calculation of cost? Oh, that's pretty simple. Well, we start. Of course, that's what you learned is what we apply. A simple question for an interview would be calculate the landed cost of inventory. You could have those type of questions. Or your profile would be cost accounting. So accounting means it could be integrated accounts, non-integrated accounts, preparing reconciliation statement. A company would have 10 different factories, different products. How are you going to do the accounting? Yep, that could be one profile. It could be doing analysis. If the company is making standardized products, maybe you will have to be in charge of analyzing what went wrong, variance analysis. Or it could be preparing cost accounting reports. So the starting level, it's basically capturing historical information. I expect that most of you would be planning for the next level of job, that's something called a junior manager level or an analyst level. At that level, what could be your job profile? Because you're qualified chartered accountants. You could be hired to do cost planning, budgeting, and then most importantly, doing a working capital forecast for the company. So you are expected not just to do a historical accounting, you are expected to have some skill sets where you're able to a little bit look into the future. At the senior level, it's more on cost management. What do you mean by cost management? Cost savings, cost reductions, cost control, doing performance evaluation. You have learned a whole range of cost management tools, right? Just in time, Kaizen, TQM, what not. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you anything. Relax. You have just finished your exam. You're better than me. That's not the issue today. So, but you could have those kind of roles possibly a little later on in life, in career. And finally, at top, you have what is called strategic decisions. Somebody could ask you, what's strategy? It means decisions which will have an impact on the long-term vision of the company. Remember, let me remind you to your CA final classes, buy or make. Do you have to buy the product, buy a component, or do you have to make the component? COVID scenario, 3 business units, one is doing bad, do you shut down or not? A lot of speakers coming from UAE, so do I expand to United Arab Emirates? So these are strategic decisions. Wherever you are in this pyramid, so you will be hired, hopefully from, of course, you can't be hired. Believe me, don't expect to be hired for decision making right on day one. But you're expected to have some skill sets, isn't it? What skill sets you're supposed to have? Let's have a look. Okay, so in an interview, when employers hire Indian chartered accountants, I use the word Indian for a particular reason. You know why? Why are we different from all other chartered accountant bodies? They presume and they are confident that you are excellent, super duper on subject knowledge. They presume that you have qualified CA final, CA inter, doesn't matter, atoms don't matter. The fact that you have qualified, it means you are well versed in handling numbers. Given a data set, you know to crack it. And finally, you pay attention to details. So this is an expectation that you will have, and I'm confident we, not just you and I, we have, because that's the rigor under which we have been trained. So far so good. If you can recollect day 3 session, CA Rajiv Saab said, work to your strengths. So these are our strengths, be proud of it. Oh, what is it that they complain about? So you will ask, how come you know the complaints? Well, I know the complaints that now that I'm in the UAE and I do teach, postgrad programs, MBA students, master's students. So I do meet a lot of employers who come to our campuses, and after the interview, they give us a feedback saying, oh, these are good things, not good things. So about chartered accountants, what have I heard? Oh, what's this? We are often criticized for working in what is known as silos, containers. People do complain about us that we are very compartmentalized. When they ask you to look at cost, you only look at cost. It's a very, very narrow view. They complain that we overemphasize on numbers and accounting procedures. We forget the business environment. I'll give you an example. So I was recently observing, I don't conduct interview, but often I observe a panel of interviews when this happens on our campus. So somebody was asked, a candidate was asked, so go ahead and suggest the scenario is very bad, it's COVID. So what should our company do to increase the bottom line? A typical textbook answer, the student replied, increase selling price. Now, that's theoretically correct. But think about it in a COVID scenario. The interviewer did say COVID scenario. Do you think that one line blank answer that you increase selling price, does that sound good? Not really, isn't it? So that's something which is our weakness. Going back to CA Rajiv Saab's session on day 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he said, if you know your weaknesses, you have to work on your weaknesses. So this is one of the complaints that has been registered about us. Let's move to interview. So in an interview, what would an employer seek to find in the right candidate? So I'm going to define the scenario for you. Who is going to hire you? Not an audit firm, a corporate, a business firm is going to hire you. Let's say they are going to hire you for, it could be compliance, but today's session is more on a support function. You're a consultant, you're an analyst to the company. So when you write a CA, give you an example. When we write a CA exam, how is it different from a practical scenario, which is precisely the interview question? CA questions, an exam question that you have been used to for past 4 years or so, the questions are very clear. All information is provided, number 2. 3, there is little room for ambiguity. But is a practical world like this? No. So your interview question is also not going to be so well defined. What the interviewer is trying to test you is, number one, when all information is not provided, can you make reasonable assumptions? Can you? If there is uncertainty, how are you going to handle that gray area? Gray area means uncertainty. If they give you a very vague question, which is deliberately vague, are you able to exhibit a clear thought process as against being a total scatterbrain? Scatterbrain means, no, I think this is there, and this is there, and this is there. So rather than using a lot of and, are you able to first pause, demonstrate to the interviewer that, look, I have a clear thought process. And finally, interviewer wants to know, can you frame your answers methodically when a question is asked on this topic? So how do you frame your answers methodically? Four guiding principles. Number one, state the problem. 2, list down the inputs that you are using to solve the problem. 3, state your assumptions. And number 4, provide the solution. That's it. Nothing fancy, black and white. We have it, but very well structured. And this is precisely how the top management, good companies, they too take decisions, what they call good leaders, great leaders. They are able to make reasonable assumptions. They are able to handle uncertainty. They are able to exhibit a clear thought process. And finally, when they give the answer, when they frame the answer, they state the problem, they list down the inputs, stating the assumptions, and finally a solution is provided. All this is quite easily said than done, isn't it? You guys must be thinking that it's so easy for her to say all this. Can we have a live example? Okay, so what we'll do is, I'm going to do 2 case studies. You're going to do it with me. So sit straight, get your hands onto your mobile phone if you've logged into your mobile phone, or you can please type in to the questions that I've asked in the chat box, and we'll have Pradeep sir reading it out for me. Okay, let's move to case study 1.
Ma'am, we have a few comments here, so that before you, I'll just read it.
Sure, please.
Couple of a few things I would like to tell that there were some technical issues, so therefore yesterday's video you cannot see on the link. It will be made available soon. So when it is there, and also you were asking about the contact details of first speaker. Towards the end of the session, he had shown a picture, so that will be available from where you will get it to all the participants who were asking me. And now the question from Anadi is how the company prepared its budget in its very first year of working, and suppose first year is 2021. There was a lot of uncertainty which exists, and because of uncertainty, industry standard may not be suitable. So this is one. Second, from Shrishti, it's if you could, as per your experience, guide us to answer these vague questions with examples. And Shehzad is asking, can you give an example for stating it methodically? That's it.
Thank you very much, Pradeep sir. So, attacking it in the same problem, 3 questions were asked. One is forecasting during uncertainty. Question 2 is give an example. Yeah. And number 3 is how do you state it methodically? I'm really happy that you asked it, and that's precisely how I've structured this case study. So, all these 3 questions are answered in this case study. After this case study, if you're still not comfortable, don't let it go. Put it again in the chat box. I have not understood it. All right. So these 3 questions, as expected, we will address it through this case study. Let's see. So it's a case study on forecasting. Oh, right. So that's something which the first student had asked, budgeting during uncertainty. Good question. So I want you all to read this with me. I'll read it aloud. Yep. Apparel Group is engaged in manufacturing and distributing specialized sports garments. The manufacturing unit is located in Hosur. It's a city in South India. And the products are sold to retail outlets all over the country. The following cost information is furnished to you. You are required to forecast each of the cost items for quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2000X2. It could be 2022 or whatever. So I'm going to share the data set with you. Yeah, you can see the data set. Take a minute, have a look at the data set. But just to add in between, some of you must be wondering, will we have voice numericals for interview? Well, my answer is, if you are employed for an internal role and if there are a large number of applicants, definitely there is a screening procedure. At least in this part of the world where I'm from, logging in from the Middle East, all the multinational companies do have a skills assessment where they do ask questions, MCQ technical topic questions, which would be an MCQ, some calculations, and if you move into the next round, it's going to be scenario analysis. Finally, you have the oral interview. So you are an expert, I know it, but this question is so drafted to handle the uncertainties. Okay. What have you figured it out? Yes, your hands on the chat box, on the keyboard. What do you think is the nature of cost A, B, C, D? So cost A, it's 1,000 rupee for 100 units. Cost for quarter 1 of 2000X2, it's 1,200 for 120 units. 2,000 for 200 units for quarter 2. So you have to have, if you're just listening to it, you may not get it. I hope you're seeing the screen. Cost B, 500, 500, 500. Remaining constant. Cost C, it's 400. Then it's 400 again, which is constant. So total cost, think about it. And then it just jumps up to 600. Cost D, quarter 4, 100 units. When 100 units was produced, cost D was 400. Then the cost went up to 440. Cost went up to 600. Miss Rashida, is there any other information? No. That's it. And you're given, say, 20 minutes to work it out and produce the answer. So I pause for about 1 minute. You can put in the chat box. My question number 1 to you is cost A, B, C, D. What is the nature of cost? Why did I not give the nature of cost? I purposely didn't give you, isn't it? So when I say nature, yes, it is vague. Okay, no problem. I'm going to be totally vague. You are going to give me the answer. What is A, B, C, D? B, okay, A is difficult. Fine, what's B then? 500, 500, 500?
Yeah, we have many answers, Ms. Rashida. So I'll tell, first answer came from Malika, A is variable. Then Malika says B is fixed. Pragati says cost A 10 times. Malika says C is semi-variable. Isha says cost A, variable cost, B fixed cost, C step fixed variable, D uncertain. Uday gives the number A 2200, 3500, B dash 500, 500. Shristri says cost A is equal to same per unit. Malika says D semi-variable. Anadi says in above case, first we find out variable cost and fixed cost by a formula difference in cost or by difference in unit. Then, yeah, so many answers are coming in now. It will be, yeah, so many are there. Almost 30 more comments are there for me.
Oh, God bless. Fantastic. So you have proved my first point. What did I tell you? That you guys are subject knowledge experts and you're good with numbers. So you're ready. Great. Excellent. I don't remember the names, though I'm keeping a tab. Perfect. Cost A is variable. So let me show you what possibly you would have written the answer as. It would be looking something like this, isn't it? Somebody had even done the math, which was superb. Wow. So how did all of them identify cost A? They found that the total cost was not the same. Very simple. I know this is intermediate, not final, I agree. So they calculated, so they know it's not a fixed cost. Okay. So they calculated cost per unit. So 1000 over 100, that's 10 rupee per unit. 1200 over 120, that's 10 rupee per unit. 2000 over 200, that's 10 rupee per unit. So cost per unit remains the same. Brilliant. Cost A is a variable cost. And as some student had already calculated, wow, that's called simply 220 times 10, that's 2200, 350 times 10, 3500. That's how you would have answered. Well done. Cost B, 500, 500, 500. Yeah. That total cost remains the same. Then the best guess is it's a fixed cost. You presume the fixed cost to remain the same at 500, 500. Cost C and D was a little tricky. C was tricky because it is 400, 400, and then it's going up to 600. So as someone did suggest correctly, it's a stepped up fixed cost. No information given, vague, uncertainty. You continue to keep it at 600. Fair enough. Possibly, I don't know. I presume this is how you have done. Cost D, that's a semi-variable cost. As Pradeep ji rightly read out, student, even the methodology is explained. Wow, that's brilliant. You have done a difference in analysis, or what is known as a high-low, isn't it? How did you identify it as semi-variable? You found that it is not a fixed cost, so you eliminated what is not the answer. Very good. Number two, you calculated the cost per unit. So you divided 400 by 100. Then you divided 440 by 120. You found that the cost per unit is not the same. Then the best guess is you do a high-low method or a difference analysis. You found out that it is semi-variable. And I think the answer is it's 2 rupee per unit variable and the fixed is 200. And then you have just calculated like this. Fantastic. Oh, so that's it, as simple. Well, now let's see how to do about it. Okay. Now comes to the question which is raised by somebody on assumptions. Yeah. So what would you have possibly missed out? A small diagram pops up in the center and at the end. So you have looked at the problem in one way. There could be several other ways. You could have made some assumptions, isn't it? And how to make assumptions? You can't just, please understand, you can't just make assumptions totally like a scatterbrain. No, that's not what is expected. There was some clue in the question in the numbers. The data, as Jaisab said 2 days ago, the data has a story. I don't know how many of you attended that, so I'm linking what is said by the previous speakers. The data had a story. How many of you observed that in quarter 4 of 2000 X1, the volume was just 100 units, but in quarter 4 of 2000 X2, which means just over 1 year, the volume is 350 units, which is 3.5 times more. Is this a natural phenomenon? Can just over 1 year, can you just produce? When you're producing, we naturally mean possibly there is a huge sale, isn't it? Such kind of rapid expansion happens for a startup company. It happens for these kind of new age businesses where your customers keep growing. The business is scalable. But was my example those type of an e-com company? No, it was a manufacturing unit making sports garments. So this increase in numbers, it should have kind of put you into a practical perspective. It is a significant increase. How can you just increase like this over 1 year? It could be because, you know, it was started it out as a small company with 100 units, and now you are using your plant. Plant means your factory to its maximum potential. That could be possible. So a better plant utilization. You're reaching its 90, 95, 100% utilization. So one plant can handle that 100 to 350 units. Or the only way to manage this is you have had a new capacity addition. That's one. You could tell me that, Ms. Rashida, oh, that's too much. You're really going, haywire. No. That number from 100 to 350 should have, or at least from now on, should have tried to send some signals into your brain. All right. Second question that you could have thought about is one of the doubts which somebody asked, uncertainty. What if there is a cost inflation? And it's likely that in a country, especially if you are in India, you should have a rough idea of the annual inflation which is happening. The costs keep going up. So to answer to the questions which was raised by the students, how would I have attacked this problem now that I have given you some insights? How do you frame your answer? So I'm going back to my principles. Two options. Option one is stick to your base calculations. What was your base calculations? How I showed you. Remember that slide? One student had already done the calculations. Yes, you keep cost A as variable, keep cost B as fixed, step cost, whatever was the cost in quarter 2, you carry it forward. Cost D, keep it semi-variable. Khalas, keep it. Now that you've attended my session, and if you are facing a scenario question from a company, a decision-making question, I would like you to list down the additional factors that need to be considered. Just make the interviewer aware that, look, I have done this base calculations in the absence of information. However, we could consider the fact that the production, so what do you have to send the message? That I saw that 100 units have gone up to 350 units. So if that's the case, it can't happen by magic. It could be because of a capacity addition. It could be due to utilization efficiency. I have not considered cost inflation, which could be considered. That's one way of framing the answer, which is brilliant. Option 2, it's a little far-fetched. Why have I put option 2? Is you state your assumptions. You're going to say that 100 units from quarter 4 of 2000 X1 has become 350 units. this actual measurement needs to be produced. So I presume, or in my calculations, I have factored in a utilization efficiency. Or you could say that I have considered that you need a new plant, a new machinery. Also, you should understand that a common mistake we make is we say that fixed cost is fixed forever. No, fixed cost is a cost which is fixed up to a certain level of output. The cost for 100,000 units and fixed cost for 500,000 units is not the same. So that's a common mistake that people do. So you could say that I have considered, a capacity addition. I have considered efficiency utilization. Number 3, I have considered a cost inflation of, let's say, 5% over 1 year. So quarter 4 of 2000 X1 to quarter 4 of 2000 X2. And then you prepare a revised forecast. So where is option 2 required? So if you already have, if you have been working for some time and you have qualified now, possibly you are looking at a much more middle level management, possibly, I'm just presuming. If you are in that category, who is your competitor? You must be competing with MBA finance students from premier institutes in the country. So they are one of our competitors. So if you think they are our competitors, then option 2 is an interesting proposition, but employers would be happy even if you do option 1. So how would my answer look like? I didn't say this is the best. I said this is an alternative, one way and another way. Look at it. I have just written quarter 4 of 2000 X1. I've just used A and F. Don't worry, those are just fancy stuff. I've made some assumptions. What assumptions I have made? I have made that since the core thing I would write in the beginning, my listing, my inputs is 100 units to 350 units, I presume that there is a utilization efficiency. So you have done a lot of classroom exercise. What happens when you have a utilization efficiency? You could reduce maybe your variable cost per unit. So I have done just an assumption. It's okay. You don't have to get that Goldilocks figure. You don't know, even I don't know. So actually I have taken not a 5%, actually I've taken a 10%. Why a 10%? Because I considered a cost inflation of 5%. And you see that the cost inflation has come only after 1 year. It's not in quarter 3, it's in quarter 4. So I presume that, okay, over 1 year, there could be a cost inflation. 5% is actually too high, but I just took it for a number. You love numbers in multiples of 5, isn't it? And this cost inflation I have considered for all the costs, for fixed cost and variable and for semi-variable costs. So for semi-variable, the variable portion and the fixed portion, I've taken a 5% cost inflation. And then I have recalculated or extrapolated my cost computations, which is, those who have taken a snapshot of the previous slide will see that it's likely to fruit. Am I correct? Who is asking if you're right? This is an interview. We were provided very, very limited information. Scenario was vague. As my friend said, COVID is uncertain. Exactly. So whenever you are in uncertainty, please state your assumptions. State state your reasonable assumptions and go ahead and provide your solution. I have also given a chart, a diagram, because in some of the interviews here that my students have attended, they were told that to use Excel. So they said you can use Excel. So my students, postgrad students, they did say that a scenario was given, we had to do calculations, and we had to actually do a presentation. So you have already have sessions, I think, on public speaking. So apart from calculations, they never said to draw the diagram. They never said presented it as a graph. But being finance faculties, finance professionals, presentation really matters. So if you have you have used Excel, it takes not more than 3 minutes to put this on a simple line chart. I didn't do anything complicated. I put myself in your shoe and then try to do it. Yeah. I hope this answers the 3 questions which Pradeep sir had posted from the students. Over to you, sir. Any more questions?
We have some comments regarding assumptions. First, Malika had mentioned price escalation for something. Then Shehzad says it could be that they diversified the business to make COVID-related stuff, example, masks or PPE. He further says that another assumption would be government has initiated production-linked incentive scheme and it increased the production. Then Krishna has made a comment that fixed costs should also increase as per the capacity. Then there are Kajal and Priyanka have given the what was variable and fixed. Then Srishti is asking, can we also take an assumption that the company had an export order due to which it had to increase capacity?
Thank you very much for those feedbacks. The scenario for the increase in capacity could be anything. So that you were not asked to actually visualize. So I feel that from the comments, my honest suggestion is you spend more time thinking why the capacity increased. So you've slightly deviated from the topic. The question was you had to forecast. When you make assumptions, the assumptions is assumptions necessary to do the forecast. You need not have gone into offbeat things as to why the export had happened. That was not the question. The question for you is prepare forecasts. So many deviations have happened. You have like looking into why it has happened. They moved into mask initiative. All those are good points. If I had asked, if my question was, what were the reasons for the increase in volume? That was not the question. Question was, you are required to prepare the forecast. To make the forecast, whatever reasonable assumptions you want to make, you can make. Coming to the export order, that all could be reasons. It could be. It could be. But that does not affect the computations or the answer at all. Coming to the mask part, that you should be very careful. Normally when we do a costing, preparing a cost plan, this would be one particular product or product which has got the same cost structure. So thinking of a totally new product, do you think a new product will have the same cost structure? No. So again, that was a good try. I appreciate it, but it went slightly off track. I hope you're getting into a point. So as many of the previous speakers said, stick to the question. Don't deviate from the question, number one in the interview, and bring your answers around the question. Assumptions necessary to answer those questions. If that's vague, that's what you have to make. Don't go offbeat. I will come back to that one more time, to that same question in the next case study. Okay, I have one more question on this case study. Continue. So suppose a question was asked. So you finished the second round of interview and then a question was asked in the oral third final round. Okay, Miss so-and-so, you did a good job. I really liked your forecast. What further implications will this forecast, so only stick to the cost forecast, have on the company? Please feel free to chat, put your messages in the chat box. I will just go ahead in the interest of time. So this question is pretty vague, right? Yeah, it is. So to answer the third question which Pradeep sir had asked, what to do when you have, how to state the assumptions. my answer is again, it's all lies in framing your answer methodically. Restate the problem. Suppose you have not understood the question clearly. What you should do is, when you begin your answer, restate it. For example, I would say, so I understand this question to mean that as a result of this cost of forecast, you mean this, the projections that I've made, in order to accommodate the increase in volume, what is the immediate implications of this forecast? So Prabdeep, have I understood the question correctly? So I can ask a question like that to the interviewer. Sir, I hope I'm on the right track. So what are you doing? The way you have understood, you are clearly telling the interviewer, look, this is what I've understood. And trust me, if you're going off track, immediately they will stop you. But if you have just begun the answer, the solution, then there's no going back. So always remember to restate the problem. What assumptions you have made? What assumptions did I make? I say, okay, I already presume that regarding implications, possibly it is a capacity addition, could be any reason for increase in sales. You've already procured the materials. I presume what you're looking for is, as a result of this increase, the biggest implication that I see is on working capital. So from in quarter 3, not in quarter 4, if you have to produce so many units in quarter 4, number one, I'll have to procure the raw materials. There will be a huge receivables. I will have to manage that cash cycle. The biggest requirement is when production volume goes up, immediate implication always is on working capital. I might need some cash injection. What I meant is you need a working capital finance. Have you looked into that, sir? Have you made arrangements to procure working capital finance? That's it. Now, if maybe my answer is wrong, but I'm confident that I've restated the problem and I've said immediate implication that I see is working capital. So if the interviewer is not happy, he would then pose the next question. Yep, I hope you are getting from totally scatterbrain. I hope you are coming to some picture. Okay, let's move into a case study 2, which is on decision making. You might like this.
Yeah. Before Rashida ma'am, we move on, I think I will have to ask Mr. Ranganathan ji to step in, because Harneet has asked a question that how many rounds of interview will be there. Ranganathan ji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and I can answer this question. Most companies have only one round, and there are very few companies which will at the time of the interview itself will say that this is a HR round. In case you are selected, we will contact you later on for our higher round. So maximum 3 rounds are possible, but those are very few companies. Since they are all newly, freshly qualified chartered accountants, their qualifications is known, all their data is with the company. Many of these interviews they finish in 1 round itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's one more comment, Rashida ma'am, couple of them are there. Himanshi is saying, since there is an increase in cost due to inflation, option 2, we need to consider corresponding impact on selling price. Then Malika has made a comment that carrying cost of inventory can also be implication.
Good point. The carrying cost of inventory is a very good point, and that's actually what I have factored in as additional fixed cost. Yeah, but that's a good point. Selling price, yeah, no worries, you can save if it is, but again remember that the selling price is a very, very dicey area. See, over 1 year, the same t-shirt that you have purchased, if you have purchased it for 1,000 rupees, would you like to pay 1,100 just because the costs have gone up? Unlikely. You don't mind paying less than 1,000. So selling price, the whole knowledge that you have learned about the pricing strategy, there's a lot of economics going in over there. You will have to be very careful when you talk about prices. Best answers is If it's a new export order, yeah, fine. But if you're selling to the same customer base, then you will have to really think about whether you need to touch on the pricing angle. But it's a good point. It's a good point. I'm very happy you guys are thinking. So that's real well appreciated. As Ranganath sir said, he said you have only one interview. God bless, it's only one. And he says in some cases you may be. So that's for those, I think, who are going through this campus placements. Yeah. So there are also possibilities that, in future you would go ahead and, you may change jobs. So hopefully these sessions are meant not just for one day, but for a long-term perspective. Good. We are good to go. We have half an hour to go. So I have one more case study and then just wind up on. So we will finish sharp on 6 o'clock when the next speaker will join you. I give you 2 minutes to read this case study. I will also read it with you. Polypal is one of the leading manufacturers of high quality plastic products in India. They have 3 divisions: home care, office and stationery and toys. They have dedicated retail stores across the country wherein all the products are sold under one roof. The toys division, which is known for their high gross margins, has been showing net losses since 2018. The overall situation has worsened due to the current COVID scenario and stiff competition from online players. The company is now considering discontinuing the toys division completely and save rental space. How would you evaluate this problem? So, what is the interviewer trying to gauge from you if it's a technical interview? They're trying to figure out your thought process. Remember one of the guiding principles? Can you exhibit a clear thought process? So this is a question which has got no numbers, but all I want to know is how are you going to approach this problem? And I use the word evaluate this problem. So are you going to do some particular calculations? Go ahead and tell me. What all will you list? So go ahead. I'm just going to give you 30 seconds. I'm just going to pause and go ahead and your fingers on the keyboard. So because it's COVID, I expect a lot of these kind of questions, just to test your ability on how you can structure your answer. Okay, so for those who are still reading, let me do something which don't forget what we have learned in class. So what are the key words that you would like to highlight?
We have some comments here.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so Anadi says we find BEP in above case and also considering avoidable fixed costs for decision making. Aman says we can use activity-based costing. Pushpu has made a comment. He wants to ask whether to continue toys division or not. Shrishti is saying shutdown ? Malika is asking, do we need to calculate shutdown point? Then again, shutdown cost. Krishna is saying we should also take into consideration the effect on other products due to discontinuation of toys. Gobind Singh has made a big comment. Well, the first factor is, of course, fixed cost savings, but we should not be limited to that aspect, because if the turnover of sales is dependent on any other product, is also to be considered the future prospects of toy division when the situation recovers. Manisha has made a comment that rental space is a fixed cost since all the products are manufactured under one roof. The cost then will be divided into 2 other products, thus decreasing their margins. Arneet has said that, in my opinion, I would evaluate why the toys division is showing losses even prior to COVID and find ways to improve it. Manisha says in discontinuance on any division, the fixed cost is unavoidable. Khushbu says if rental savings are more than the losses, then we should discontinue the product. Pragati says, yeah, so now the comments are coming very fast. Pragati says, can consider selling toys online. Yeah, so it's continuing. Now there are almost 30 more comments. Yeah.
Well done. I think you deserve a big round of applause. If we were having a face-to-face class, I would have just come and given you a pat. You have covered all the points. I'm really super proud of you. So I'm going to reiterate the points. So you see that I come with a pen and paper. So don't think that just because everything is online, you'd have to get rid of pen and paper. No, you have to make note of the points. So precisely as you guys said, I'm just highlighting what you guys said. Some of you did mention, I'm sorry I don't remember the names, my apologies on that. Someone made a nice point that everything is under one roof. So they said about a good point is, if you stop the sale of toys, how is it going to affect the sale of other products? That's a good point. Similarly, under one roof, some of the points that has to be linked to this one roof is someone said about is fixed cost actually, can you actually reduce the fixed cost because it's all under one roof? All right. Another point is this is high gross margin. So that's one point which I felt nobody touched upon. There was one comment which said that if the rental cost comes down, the margins will go down. But you have to understand that I use the word gross margins, not net margins. So gross margins are high. So gross margins don't include the rental cost. So that's one point. So this is one point I felt nobody touched. I'm very happy that all of you touched the point on online. There was one student who said you should take online. Good point. Rental space, what I loved most of your answer is the word you have used, avoidable fixed cost. That was a key word. Fantastic. Good. Now that you have all of you together put in the points, how would you, now in the interview you are a one-man show, isn't it? You are a single person. How would you have structured this question? No, I think this is a saying often, attributed to Sherlock Holmes. If you don't know anything, start with what you know, right? So what do you know? Take a holistic overview. That's very important. Our strength is finance. So we have to do a financial calculation. Some of the questions that I'm going to place, some of my what I call stating my assumptions is, the question said that it has got high gross margins, but still it is making net losses. So there was one student who commented that before COVID, I would like to evaluate why the toys division was at a loss. That is a fantabulous point. The same point what that student have written is what I have used using technical terminologies. I'm evaluating before COVID what happened. Good, excellent starting. It could be because of a wrong overhead allocation. So it'll be nice where you can little bit bring technical points. Number two, a lot of students commented the loss of sale of other products because all these are sold under one roof. So this is it's selling plastic products. So one is a home care products and other is toys. So possibly the demography of people, customers coming in mostly could be moms, mothers, families. So if you buy a toy, there's a chance that high probability that you're going to pick something from the home care division or stationery. Yeah, that's possible. So potential side effect cost should be considered. The calculation that you would perform would be a cost benefit analysis. Here, I would like to touch upon things. What did you learn? You have learned things called a relevant cost. That's really important. Whoever used the word avoidable fixed cost, fantastic. It's not just fixed cost. It's avoidable fixed cost. That's very important. Relevant, second point of relevant costing, the potential contribution lost from the sale of other products. That's a point which you have raised. Very good. So you could say, as a financial evaluation, I would do a cost benefit analysis. Fantastic. Now I would, to structure this, see, framing my thoughts, I start with financial. Don't forget, I move into non-financial. So it's always nice when you have decision-making questions. Remember, we are CAs, so we are expected to give a finance point. You can't say, I'll just talk total stuff. No, big stuff. We have not hired for those big talks at this point. We are hired for our strengths. I keep repeating that. So do your financial part. What are the non-financial part? As someone rightly said, online competition to be seriously considered. I have used the word redeployment or termination of staff. Rental cost, somebody said due to COVID, yeah. Is any negotiation possible? So it went into loss only in 2018. It's a high gross margin product. So the last line of the question was, they want to discontinue it to save rental space. So rental space seems to be the focus of the company. So non-financial as in, is it possible to renegotiate? If that's the case, it will have a financial implication. And things like the practical challenges of reducing the rental cost. Like, the word was all under one roof. Now, if you have taken one space down on the ground floor, is it actually possible to, piecemeal cut it down? Do you have any penalties if you have signed a long-term lease contracts? So those things could kick in up. So those are the non-financial factors. Don't worry, if you should not feel overwhelmed. Oh my God, I couldn't think of all this. Out of these, if you can get 2 points, you are in for the interview, guys. So you don't have to worry about getting the whole thing. I present it to you so that sometime in future, you will start thinking in this line. I just present to you, so that was a 2 case study. I hope with those 2 case studies, you got some idea on how to approach a scenario-based questions. We are slowly going to wind up. COVID viral topics, yes, the virus is all around. So HR sometimes have absolutely no idea on finance. So I find a lot of my students coming back and telling me, yes, we had questions whether work from home is a good idea to save office rentals. So on the face of it, it looks like a fantastic idea. Your company saying, all of you work from home, I'm going to cancel my lease contract, I'm going to, vacate my office space. Wow, we have major savings. Is that the case? Well, apparently it looks great, but not really. So recently I was talking to somebody who works with an international Swedish company, and they have shut down their office for 2 years. 2 years, mind you. Which means they can actually cancel the lease, pay the penalty, cancel the lease. But what were the new problems that came in? They had this company, not naming it, they have a huge operations back in India. And in India, biggest problem is internet connection, power supply. So a lot of employees started complaining that, look, I can't work because of power interruption. So the company had to give an allowance to buy a UPS. Then there were a lot of uproar complaints from the employees saying that in my house there are 3-4 family members, so I have to move to a bigger space. I need a higher HRA. So don't think that it's all rosy. Remember the word cost benefit analysis. Plus, I have added, don't forget, wherever possible, don't go offbeat, don't go total scatterbrain, but relevant non-financial factors to be included, especially if you're facing multinational companies. Remember that this non-financial factors is highly valuable. All right. Just discussing 2 new trends which might be useful to all of you. So number 1, is about changing business models. Have a look into the screen. Maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know. How do we shop for our, for our fashion clothing? We go to a store and we pick, isn't it? Things have changed now. Most of us do shop online. This is a reality. Now look onto the screen. This data the source of data has been indicated to you. So $150, US dollars, are high-end jeans, the same jeans. To a cost analyst, it can look differently if you're selling through a retail channel, that is a brick and mortar store, or you are selling through an e-commerce structure. Have a look, few minutes, have a look at this. What do you see? At the bottom line, you see $45, both when you're selling through a store and through the e-commerce platform. So that's a factory cost of production. That remains the same. That's fine. But the rest of the cost, what happens in a retail cost structure? A majority of the cost, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think nearly 17, how much percent of the cost is, two major costs that they have is, one is the store's payroll. Yeah. So if it is a retail unit, about 18% of the total cost, as per this data, is staff payroll. So if you're having a mall, you have a lot of staff helping you out. And about 15% of the total selling price, $150, 15%, that will be the store rentals. The same high-end jeans, if you are selling through your own e-commerce platform, or it could be a marketplace, you don't have store rentals, so 20% of the cost is operating costs. Now, when I say operating cost, it is maintaining the platform, the payment platform, updation, the software, software needs to be continuously maintained, updated. And 7% of the cost as per this data is what is called order fulfillment. You will have shipping cost. Most of them say free shipping, but they incur a cost, isn't it? And a biggest problem in e-commerce is the sales return. So my question to you, and which Pradeep sir will read it out, is you are a cost analyst. Looking at this graph which is given to you, this data given to you, what are your key takeaways? You are a cost analyst. 30 seconds. Let me see what's going to come in.
Also, we have a couple of questions also from work from home. We can take it after that, right?
Sure.
After the
All right. So I hope your answers are coming in. So the key takeaway, I don't know if somebody has written it's more profitable to sell as on an e-commerce platform because it looks like it. Well, from a cost analyst perspective, your key takeaway is the cost structure is, it's the same product, two different business models. So the cost structure is totally different. If you know the cost structure, you will know what cost control measures you have to take. Where do I reduce cost? Which is that area where possibly I can have some efficiency? If you want to do a cost management, you will have to not just know about the product, even things like the changing business model, you will have to take into account. Even simple things like if you want to offer a discount, how much discount can you offer? So again, all that depends upon not just knowing the product, but you really have to have an idea of the business model. So something I want to say is in your career, in your learning journey in chartered accountancy, most of the thought process was traditional business models. So now the business models are changing. You should be willing to, look at things from a new business model perspective. We are winding up. I just want to make a point on sustainable business decisions. When I was just, Pradeep sir did tell me that CA Amit Arora, he did spend some time on this. So if you, this is gaining a lot of traction, particularly in the Western world. So when you take business decisions, earlier we were only worried about the bottom line, and the bottom line is profit. So what is the objective of business? We say it's profit. The trend is changing. There is a growing demand and a growing awareness among all stakeholders that it's not just enough to look into profit. You have to take care of your people and planet. When we say people, it includes employees, it includes their families, society, the community at large, suppliers, all that comes under people. Planet, how are you taking care of, is your product environment friendly? Is your processes environment friendly? What is the extent of carbon emissions, the waste that is generated, water usage, renewable energy usage, so on and so forth. So it's nice to just read about it, about what's meant by sustainable business decisions. I've given you an idea. There is an international call towards ESG compliance. So ESG, you know it, isn't it? Environment, social, and governance. I'll take 3 examples from the Indian scenario. These are all clippings from the news article. Have a look at the date, May 15, 2020. That's a time when, we were in COVID, the first lockdown. At that time, Asian Paints, they made this announcement that they're not going to lay off any staff, but at the same time give salary increment. So this is a good example of S in the ESG social. And believe me, the stock prices of Asian Paints did go up. So what I want to say is that time is over where decision makings are solely towards profit. If you're working in large multinational public, especially listed companies, you could be asked on sustainability and ESG. Another example is, this is an e-auto rickshaw. I didn't want to give, if I was in UAE, I would give Tesla, but I thought I would take something with a local flavor. This is an e-auto rickshaw by Mahindra. Yeah, so they are again all moving. These are all big companies. These are big companies. They are a part of the index. They are moving towards making products which are environmental friendly. I also have for you a snippet on what happens if you don't comply. So this is a news, look at the date. It's April 14, 2021. Adani Ports is one of the largest logistics port operators, in fact, in UAE, a private company. They decided to go and invest in Myanmar, build a terminal. So basically boosting the bottom line. Unfortunately, this business decision of theirs, this was not taken well by the international financial markets. So Adani Ports was a part of S&P Sustainability Index. Those who don't know what S&P is, it is like you have BSE and NSE. So S&P is an index, global index. They had something called a Sustainability Index. Adani Ports was a company in that index. So if you're a company in that index, you are going to get a massive amount of global investors investing in your company. But they were removed out of it, and this has severely affected the company because the company was trying to build a profile towards being environmental, social, and governance compliance. They wanted to raise capital in the international market. What do you mean by raise capital? They want fund, they want equity, they want debt from global investors. This news has had a severe blow on the company. So if you are interviewed by Adani Ports, so ESG is a topic for you that you have to be careful about. My last slides for you, my final thoughts. Let me just sum up all this together. Good decision making, it requires knowledge. And why did I put a thumbs up? Because you are expected to have knowledge on the subject, any subject, and you have it. So no worries. Good decision making requires experience. You don't have it, and employers know that. So no worries on that. They know, as Rangnath sir said, they know that you are newly qualified accountants. So no worries. And good decision making requires insights. Insights means good understanding. Now, when it comes to insights, what happens is that some interviewers, they may move into gray areas, uncertainties. You are not expected to give that right decision, don't worry. But you are expected, if these questions are asked, to show some kind of insight. As you guys already did it in my example. So you are on the right track. So if you are in trouble, remember the guiding principles. Number one, state the problem one more time to make sure what the interviewer has asked is what you have understood. Make reasonable assumptions. There I want to warn you, don't deviate from the topic. Exhibit a clear thought process. And finally, frame your answer methodically. With that in mind, I want to say thank you for being such a fantastic audience, for being so interactive. I'm really, really impressed with your contributions. I'm ready to take your Q&A.
Yeah, so we have around 10 minutes time. First, I would like to read a statement there when you gave some examples of the current trends. Malika said that this is amazing. Did open up our perspective. Thank you so much. Then Govind is asking, I was asked in an interview whether you are okay with work from home or office in the HR round. How to answer that?
Well, this is a very, very tricky question, work from home, and you can be actually honest. I'm just saying from my personal opinion. So if you are comfortable working from home, you can say I'm comfortable working from home. But if you are perfectly okay going to the workplace, that's fine about it. So that's just a question which is not graded. Don't worry. It's not a graded question. This question is very much common in this part of the world now too. A lot of my students say that they have faced this question. They just want to know, are you going to come here or are you going to work from home? So state your honest opinion. If you have difficulties in traveling, if you're staying far away, you can say that I stay in, 2 hours drive from the office. So I think at this point for safety, I prefer to work from home. However, if I'm required to be on the campus, if you're ready to, say you're ready to. If you're not ready, I say state it bluntly that I'm sorry, but I cannot come at this point of time. That's okay.
Yeah, you have next question is similar to this. Jatinder says that if we have to work from home, then how to keep our enthusiasm up? That's some technique, how to keep the interest up.
That's a lovely question. I would like to ask you that, how to keep it up. So I think answers to those questions, all I can trace back to the previous speakers. I'm not able to recollect speakers. All talks about passion. If you enjoy work, I think you will keep up the momentum going. All right. How important is that job to you? I always ask my students when they go for interview, how important is that job to you? So if that really matters to you, you will be motivated. So show enthusiasm. You need to work hard. You have a long way to go. So I don't have a crystal ball. I think Pravdeep sir would be the best person to take that.
See, I have a comment. 10 years back, a book was written by a professor. I think her name was Linda, from a European university from England. He said that the future of work, she was talking about how working from home is affecting our lives. Because when we work from office, we meet people, that builds up the energy, positive things we carry. So before this COVID came also, this problem was being discussed because a doctor may be sitting in India, but he is doing a surgery in China or America and software company. So therefore, if the work demands that, then, we are the best person to find out, okay, how we can carry on with that. because this is not happening now, work from home. There have been people, those who have been working from home from 10 years, from more than a decade. So therefore, we have to, when we study also, we start studying from the morning to keep the enthusiasm up, do not make our mind shift, and then the things continue. Right. Then, Harneet has made a comment, an amazing session, ma'am, loved it. Then Jitinder is asking, is Dubai hiring Indians without making them come to Dubai? Yes, Jitinder, it happens, depends upon company to company. Anchal is asking, please, what should be an answer for the questions? Now we are in virtual world. Do you need training, or we can assign assignment directly? Yeah, so the company asking them.
The company is asking, I'm sorry, Prabdeep, if you could restate that question.
Yeah. So the companies are asking that whether you need any training when you are in a virtual world, or directly we can give you work.
Well, that depends if you have previous experience. That's always my answer. So suppose if you are going to do a compliance job, like internal audit, and you've already done external audits and internal audits in your articleship, I think you can easily go without training. But if it is something new, I would say that it's always better to take some kind of training, just to understand the company culture, just to fit into the company. I think that would be a good idea. But it depends on your level of confidence. So if you have been in articleship for quite some time, if it's a similar work, I think you can just easily migrate.
Maybe an organization is trying to play around with the mind of students.
Could be.
Yeah, so therefore trainings are important part of the organization. So as you said, dependency. I think further they should add that as things move on, where trainings should be the part of the organization culture.
Exactly. So to even understand, for example, even if it's different organizations have, even for simple things, let me tell you, my fellow young chartered accountants, the IT system itself will be different from company to company. So somebody must be using SAP, somebody must be using some other Oracle-based software, somebody must be using something as simple as a Tally, somebody would be using a cloud-based accounting software. So you might not be, even though you're excellent in accounting, you might not have exposure to, let's say, a particular software. So that's something which you have to be careful. Everything is in an IT landscape. Are you familiar with the software? If not, do ask for, if not, a training would be good. I always recommend training or some kind of support to just migrate. That's the word I say, to migrate, to latch on to the company. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. The next question we have from Govind, that he was asked that you are offered a PwC tax job and General Electric in free. Which one would you choose and why? So he was asked in one real interview. Yeah.
So good. I'm very happy. I really love these type of questions when question is flipped back. So if I'm not mistaken, the question is if I get a job in PwC or it is General Electric in the tax division. Am I right?
He hasn't mentioned which division, but industry is specifying.
What is the first company? Is it PwC?
It's company? This audit firm PwC.
Okay. All right. So this is a very personal question, and I will answer it personally. As it's work to your. It's two things. One is, if you are really tired of 4 years of experience in audit, you can go for something new to try on. So you could work in a company. Yeah, so that's working in GE. That would be a good idea to work in. Only thing is, it's going to be only tax, but don't think that just because it's tax this year, it's going to be tax for the rest of your life. No. You can easily move from department to department. So that I always preferred that. I had 3 years of articleship, and then I wanted to do something different. That's one way of looking at the problem. There's always two sides to the coin. The other side is, there's nothing like having, both are big companies. If you are really good in audit and you have always excelled as audit in your articleship, and you see that you want to be, what you see tomorrow is, I want to be a senior partner in the audit, one of the largest audit firms in the world. then yeah, you can take, in PwC, no problem, no worries on that. So that's my answer to my young interviewer. Thank you for that.
See, the candidate has to be prepared for both, because depending upon who has asked, candidate has to answer that he will choose that and why.
Okay.
So
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But
so
I really love that question. I just want to tell to that particular student is keep up that spirit of asking, and the more you ask, the more it broadens your horizon. So it doesn't matter whom you ask, but fantastic questioning. Good job.
Yeah, so Govin later clarified that it was General Electric's finance. Srishti is asking, we have just 1 minute, last question we will take. Any tips for what interviewer looks for as far as skill set? I think I had answered this earlier, but you can also share your views.
When they skill sets, of course, knowledge is you're already good at it. As I said, IT skill sets, I don't know, some of them do insist on basic Excel, do you know Excel tools? That's one skill set. That's basic. I don't think somebody looks for advanced Excel, but yeah, you should know to work on Excel is now mandatory. Second one is our next speaker will address you on oral communication skills. You should be able to communicate effectively, both orally and both in terms of written. So soft skills is one good thing that you should be able to demonstrate. And third one is what we call it as a critical thinking skills. That's what I kind of guided you today. In the event of uncertainties, if you have to handle gray areas, can you show some clarity in your thought process? So do you have the ability to slightly scale up as you did today? So I would say 3 skills to sum up. One is a little bit of IT skills would be good. 2 is oral communication skills, as we call it, soft skills, presentation skills. Number 3 is a critical thinking skill. Slightly think outside the box so that you're able to give a holistic picture.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. You are fasting, and I know that you are expert lecturer. But yeah, so we thank you from the bottom of our heart now. And I would also like to apologize to those students, those who may be fasting, because it disturbs their timing, because some of the members complained to me. And I said that, our 99% of the participants are from India and 99% of the faculties are from abroad. So we had to manage that time slot. It was very difficult job. But anyways, recordings are available for everyone. So thank you. And hopefully students will get your benefit later on.
Sure. I will share this presentation, sir, with you. I'll email it to you if the students wanted to go ahead at it. Bye. Thank you very much, Rangnath sir, for being here all throughout, to CA Nirlap sir, the entire technical team, and Pradeep sir 24/7 to look in the chat box, and to that wonderful young audience. Bye-bye. And let's welcome Ms. Nisha, who's all set, and best wishes to you. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Very insightful session for experienced CA also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nirlap sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so Nirlap sirs and Nirlap sirs and my favorite topic is there by Nisha ma'am today, who is a champion speaker, communication. As a Toastmaster, we do communication day in and day out. It's an integral part of our life also for Madam Nisha. But though her profile in communication is much vaster than we have, I would say I didn't make a statement earlier. Rashida was still there. I said that, today we are celebrating a Women's Day. Both the speakers are women. So I see a lot of women participants, chartered accountants who are here, and they very eagerly participate and ask questions. Everyone is asking, but very happy to see it's like 50-50%. 50% women, 50% men. And how the things are changing when you are entering into this profession. The earlier, like when I became chartered accountant, or women students were very less, right? So we had like a percentage 30, 70. But the percentage of students, men and women, is equal. So the things in the another 5 years or 6 years will change, significantly change the dynamics of the number of members, whether they are women or a member. It may be same. The God knows. I encourage all to see that, chartered accountancy from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India prepare you to study at a time when it's most necessary. So you as a young chartered accountant, when you are getting into this profession, you have to educate the students that if I'm not doing articleship, I'm not making my subjects stronger, then I'm losing significantly on making my base stronger. And we make our base stronger when we are young. It's a thought which came up from women and men, and that's why I'm stressing on it, because when you go out there, you have a role to play to see that all our students in commerce are having a stronger base. So with this, allow me to welcome Nisha ma'am. Nisha, I know Nisha since past many years as a Toastmaster, and I think 2015 it was when Nisha was contesting, and I have in Abu Dhabi, and I was totally 800 people were there in the auditorium, more than 800, and I was totally mesmerized with her speech. I had seen her contesting earlier also, but that was the year when her speaking made a very significant impact to me. So Nisha is an entrepreneur with an educational events company that conducts webinars and workshops for students, corporate executives, homemakers, etc. She also hosts an online talk show, Expedia, where people from different parts of the world share their inspiring stories. She is a certified trainer, a certified NLP practitioner, and a life coach. A champion speaker at Toastmasters International. In 2019, she was just one of the 28 best speakers in the world by Toastmasters International when she won second place at the regional quarterfinals of World Championship. She has been conducting workshops and speaking worldwide. An avid reader, a photographer, and a mother of two who believes in the quote, "You have not come this far to just give it up. Never ever give it up. Your destiny might be just one step away." So what I would like to share, about the contest where she was adjudged as one of the top 28 speakers. Little bit brief, those who are Toastmasters may be knowing that as the word moved on to make less people travel, there used to be 100 people who used to travel to US as the top speakers, top 100 speakers from more than 40,000 who used to contest from all over the world. But the format changed, and there were video recordings which were sent. And on those video recordings, where you from your country when participated, the same video recording, when from different part of the world it reached, she was adjudged as second, like just one step away from being the top 10 who would have been contesting from the Toastmasters International stage. With this, we have 80 minutes, and we are really encouraged to make our communication stronger with Nisha ma'am. So please help me welcome ma'am Nisha with a big, big round of virtual applause. Over to you, Nisha.
Good evening to all the young people who are watching me, listening to me. And I'm so glad that as our previous speaker said, and also Chartered Accountant Prabdeep ji said that, many of you are fasting, but still you have been sitting there watching, listening and observing for so many hours. So kudos to you, first of all. And before I start my session, I would like to thank the president of CMIB chapter, Chartered Accountant Mr. Hansraj Shukji, and the Vice Chairman, Chartered Accountant Durgesh Kabraji, for such a great initiative to help the youth excel in their professional and personal life. And thank you to Chartered Accountant Prabdeep ji and my dear friend Chartered Accountant Nirlab Bhatt ji to give me an opportunity to contribute a little bit towards their growth. So thank you so much. Now guys, I have got 80 minutes, right? And you have to literally bear me for 80 minutes. Now, what am I going to do in these 80 minutes is I'll be talking all about public speaking, and I will give you some tips and techniques on how to improve your public speaking skills and why is it so important. So I will start with the basics and slowly we will move towards the advanced levels of public speaking. Now, I want to understand from your point of view, if you can answer in your chat box. I can't see you, I can't see your answers, but if you can answer, couple of the answers will do. What do you understand by public speaking? Yeah, if anyone is answering, you can just let me know.
Yes, let them think and answer. I would like to bring Ranganathan sir in between. Sir, students are asking regarding whether there is any mock interview tomorrow. They had registered for it on 26th.
Yes, the mock interviews have been slated for 3 days, but this will be held not for all the students because of lack of faculty. We'll be holding it for some students and we'll be writing to them. Whosoever is there in the mock interview, they will receive a mail.
Okay, fine. So Anchal had asked this. Right. So Nisha, there's one question regarding Toastmasters, how and when to join. So this we can answer later, I believe.
Sure.
When we complete. And now the options are coming in. There's a question by Harneet also. Harneet, we will answer your question. Difference between ACCA, ICWCP, AUS. Now, the comments which are coming in, confidence with content, Jitendra says, Dev Mystery says one to many, Govind says to be able to speak confidently in front of masses, Shrishti says voice modulation, Dharma says to speak in public, but Raju says addressing large number of audience, Naman says, Malika says addressing public and at large, so Naman says speaking before large audience. So, many have said speaking before large audience.
Correct. Many of you have answered it correctly. Public speaking is nothing. It's the two words defines itself. Public speaking. Speaking in front of a large group of people. That is known as public speaking, right? So what am I doing right now when I'm standing here and addressing all of you? I'm into public speaking. What does your teacher do when he stands in front of you and talks to you? He's teaching you, but he's again into public speaking because he's addressing a large number of students, right? Why do we do public speaking, or what is the objective of public speaking? The main objective of public speaking is to educate. What your teachers and professors do. What am I doing right now? I'm teaching you. So educate, entertain. All those stand-up comedians, you might have seen so many stand-up comedians, program hosts. What do? They entertain, but they are also public speakers because they address a large number of people. And thirdly, to empower. And that is exactly what our leaders do, politicians do. They empower. So this is the main objective of public speaking. Now, you may wonder, okay, and you might be thinking, okay, it is for education, it is for entertainment, it is for empowerment. What has this public speaking got to do with us chartered accountants? Because we are into numbers. We are not into public speaking. We are not going to, present a speech in front of large number of people. My dear friends, you are mistaken. Now, before I tell you why is it so important for chartered accountants, let me tell you that many 500 Fortune companies have now started their own clubs. They have, special sessions on public speaking, because public speaking is now one of the mandatory skills that you need to have as a professional. It is very, very important. When your yearly review has been done, they look at your communication skills, and public speaking is one aspect of communication. Again, do I, as a chartered accountant, need this skill? Yes, you do. Because things have now changed. You need to understand, whenever you go into a company, first thing, you have to face an interview. Interview is just another form of public speaking. There you are not presenting a speech, but you are facing someone. You have to listen to them and answer their questions. And if you have improved your public speaking skills, then I will tell you that you will ace that interview. Second, when you start working in a company, there can be chances that, your manager would come and say that, okay, yeah, please present a report after 2 weeks. What will you do? You don't know how to present the report. You have never done that. And that is why you need to have this public speaking skill, so that you can present well, present effectively in your company. And if you are a good presenter, if you know how to present a report, if you know how to convey your message or information to your managers, then your chances of growing in the company is much higher than those who do not know these things. So it is very, very important that at least you know the basics of public speaking and how to improve that skill. If you know certain tips on how to present it well in the company, you will grow exponentially in your life. Okay. Now, before I get into telling you different aspects of public speaking and what are the things that you need to take care of, before you are going to present something in front of your managers or your interviewer, what are the things that you should be focusing on? Number one, you should always be prepared. Right. Now, my question, when you go for an interview, would you just wake up one morning and just go there and sit there and answer the questions? Will it be possible? No. In the same way, if your manager asks you to prepare or report something or present a report in a meeting, you should be well prepared. Because if you are well prepared, then you will not be nervous, right? Now, for example, when you go for your CA exams, do you just go like that? One fine morning that you know that your exams are there and you will just go there and sit there and write your exams? No, you prepare. You prepare for months. And that is exactly what you have to do when you have to present something. You should be very well prepared. Second thing is, you should be excited, energetic, right? So when your manager comes and says that, okay, Nirlep, present the report, you should not be going like this. So today, gentlemen, I'm going to talk about, no, this is not acceptable. You should be excited, because if you are not excited, your managers will not be interested in listening to you, right? So you are given an opportunity. You should be excited to present your report. So your shoulders should be up and you need to have a confident demeanor to stand in front of them and present the report. So you should always be excited and energetic. Third, you should never apologize before presenting anything. So if you get a chance to present a report, or let's say you're going for an interview and somebody asks you a question, never apologize. Don't ever say that, I'm so sorry, this is my first time, I'm so nervous. No, nobody knows that you are nervous. Can you tell that I'm nervous? I am. But I need to fake that confidence. So never ever apologize when you have to present something in front of a large number of people. Okay? And be well groomed. Now what does that mean? What do you mean by well groomed? That means please take a bath, comb your hair properly, Okay, cut your nails, be neat and tidy. Don't just go and present your report with your messy hair and clothes are not ironed. No, be well groomed when you have to present something. And the next thing is be well dressed. Now that does not mean that you need to buy expensive clothes from Zara or Mango. No. But whatever you wear, it should be well ironed and it should be as per the occasion. What does that mean? For example, if you're going for a wedding party, will you wear your school uniform and go? No, you will go in a party wear. In the same way, when you're going for an interview, will you go in a dazzling salwar kameez? No, you will wear proper formal attire and you will attend the interview. In the same way, when you have to present something or when you have to do a session or presentation, be well dressed as per the occasion. So these are the things that you need to take care of before you do a session or before you do a presentation. Now let me come to the aspects or different aspects of public speaking. For last 10-12 minutes, I have been saying public speaking, public speaking, public speaking. But what exactly is public speaking, right? What does it consist of? It consists of only two things. One is your content, and second is your delivery. Okay, in public speaking, we call it delivery. So what is content? Content is the thing that we are going to say. Okay, it is the subject matter that we are going to present. And delivery is how we present it. Okay, so these are two different things that combines and makes it public speaking. So content, what are we going to present? And delivery, how we are going to present it. Okay, and this is very easy, guys. You don't have to worry. You just have to learn these, certain basics of these things and you will be a very good public speaker. Now, let me talk about content. What are we going to present? I understand you all are chartered accountants, right? You might not be having great stories or examples. You might be having numbers, statements that you need to present in front of your management. That is your content. But again, when you are presenting such reports, there are few things that you should take care of. Number one is the structure of your subject, which means when you are presenting a report, it should be very well structured. First, you need to know. Yes.
Nisha, can I interrupt you? Because I got some message where someone said that video is on repeat, that you will ace that interview. They are asking. So Parth, I would like to ask, was there any issue in between or everything is working fine?
It's all right. It's perfectly flawless.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I'm okay, right? I'm not stuck, yeah? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, so I was talking about content. Now you as a chartered accountant know that you have to present a report. You know where should be your first point, where should be your second point, where should be your third point. When you are presenting that report, it should not be that you first mention your first point and then suddenly you realize something and you came to your 10th point. No. That is not structure. When you structure your report, it should be properly, the first example, then some statement, then the second example. It should be in a chronological order so that your managers or whoever people sitting there listening to you, they should be able to understand the report. And that is what I meant by structuring the content. Okay. Second thing in content that you should take care of, if possible, since you are chartered accountants, whenever you present the report, include some examples to make it interesting, okay? Because I have attended certain conferences, all these big companies' conferences where the presentation becomes boring because they are all talking about, a lot of reports, there are a lot of statements, there are a lot of statistics, data, and I would be sitting there and thinking, oh my God, so boring, right? and it can happen with you also. So whenever you are presenting a report, try to include examples. Okay, for example, let's say that you're presenting a profit and loss statement for the last 3 to 5 years, right? Now you can put some example on how the company benefited, or how the company incurred, got that profit in that particular year. What did we do? You can include some people's names. You can include how they worked hard. What are the things that you did? So include certain examples when you're presenting the report. Third thing, there is no harm in telling jokes. You can do that to just ease the nervousness that is going around in the room. So if you're presenting a report and if you think that this particular example that I'm giving can be humorous, I can present it in a humorous way, do that. Okay, because when people would laugh, then they would be able to connect with you. And it is very important. You all are chartered accountants, but at the end of the day, you are human beings, right? You do have emotions, correct? You all smile, you all laugh, I believe, right? So you can tell jokes, but the most important thing is whatever examples you present, whatever jokes you mention, it should always be related to the subject that you're presenting. So if you're presenting a report on balance sheet or something, let's say a balance sheet, you're presenting a balance sheet and you're trying to explain whatever has happened. And if you come up with a joke on weight loss, will it match? No. So try to include stories or jokes that relates to the subject, okay, so that everybody can connect to it. So this was all about content. The most important thing, how to present it. Okay, now you might be thinking, oh my God, I have such a great content. I have structured everything. I have included examples. I have included jokes. How will I present it? So what are the things that I need to take care of while presenting this report? Only 2 things. When we talk about delivery, we talk about only 2 things. Your voice and your body language. Now, yesterday, one of the speakers, Chartered Accountant Singha, has already touched upon body language, but I would explain it a little more. Okay, so when it comes to presenting, when it comes to delivery, we talk about 2 things, voice and body language. A speaker has got only voice. If a speaker does not have voice, will he be called a speaker? No. So voice is very, very important. Now, you may think that, ma'am, I don't have a great voice, okay?
I have this kind of voice. Hello, how are you?
Can I be a speaker? Of course you can. You do not need to have a voice like Amitabh Bachchan to be a public speaker, right? Even if you have a very thin, sharp voice, you can be a public speaker. You need to have voice quality. Now, what is voice quality? There are 3 things that we need to look into when we talk about voice quality. Number 1, your voice should be loud. It should be loud enough to be heard by everybody sitting in the room. Now, that does not mean that you have to shout or yell. No, but it should be loud enough to be heard by everybody sitting over there. Okay, so the first quality is loudness. Second is clarity. Your voice needs clarity. Now, somebody with great voice, okay, you may say that his voice is very loud, but sometimes it happens that he speaks so fast that some of the words would not be clear. What is the point of having such a loud voice when your words are not clear? Okay, so the second thing that you need to have is clarity in your voice. Each and every word that you say must be understood by the people sitting over there. Whether it's your interview, whether it's your presentation, whether it's your normal conversation. Now, when I'm talking about voice, these things are important in daily conversation also. Have you seen people talking so fast? They are standing, hello Prabhdeep, how are you doing? Have you eaten something? Are you okay? Right, so fast. So you need to have these qualities in your voice to be a great conversationalist also. Okay, loudness, clarity, and the third thing which is very, very important is expressions. You need to have an expressive voice. And what does that mean? So when I say, wow, what a great initiative this was. Now I'm expressing my excitement, right? So I'm not asking you to be so dramatic, but you need to have expressions in your voice. You need to have an expressive voice. See, you must have listened to singers, right? Muhammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar. When they sing these sad songs, we can feel that pain in that voice because they have expressions in the voice. So in the same way, when you talk to somebody, whether it is an interviewer, and when he asks that, how are you doing, Mr. Nirlab? Oh, sir, I'm doing great. You need to have that. You can't say, sir, yeah, sir, I'm doing great. No. Right? So you need to have expressions in your voice. So these are the things that makes a voice with great quality. There are 3 different elements of voice modulation that we talk about when it comes to public speaking. You all can see me, right? I'm not stuck.
Yeah, perfectly.
Fine. In fact, yeah, you're fine.
Because it's showing resolving network issues, so I got worried.
Yeah, Malika also gave one solution that those who are facing some issues, you log in and log out. I think she logged out and logged in. She's fine. So I think it's fine. Everything is fine, right? I think Nirlip Saab is also watching. So Nirlip Saab, anything stuck?
No, it's a perfectly flawless. There is no issue.
Nothing
Okay.
stuck. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so you already understood what are the things that you need to have a great voice quality. Now, the elements of voice that we need to take care in presentation or in talking is number 1 is your pitch. What is pitch? That is the highs and lows of your voice. Okay. Now, when we get excited, we go high. Our voice goes high. When we are sad or when we are facing some unhappy situation, our voice goes low. So this wave of your voice is known as the pitch. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're going in, you are in a park and you see someone coming from there and you suddenly think that, oh, this is my friend who was there with me in school. So you are seeing someone after so many years. So you say, hi! And then you realize that he's someone else. Oh, I'm sorry. See the highs and lows of your voice. And this is what you need to take care of in public speaking. So if you're presenting a report where there is a good news, keep that high momentum in your voice. And if you're talking about some misfortune, your voice should go low, right? This is how we control the pitch of our voice. Second element in voice modulation is pace. Right? The average speed of someone talking is 120 words per minute. But when it comes to public speaking, okay, you need to maintain a pace of 90 to 100 words per minute. Your pace should be such. It should not be too fast. It should not be too slow that nobody will understand what I am saying. Right? It should not be like that. So your word should be, the pace should be 90 to 100 words per minute. Even when you are facing an interview, make sure that you maintain that pace when you are answering the questions. Third, and the most important thing is pause. Take a pause. Don't just keep talking. Whenever you have an important thing to say, and if you have already mentioned it, take a pause. Because your listeners, whether it's your managers or your interviewer or whoever it is, he needs to understand your point. So take a pause. When you ask a question in a presentation, and when you say that, okay, sir, what do you think about my report? Pause. Take a pause. Let them, let the question sink in. Let them think about the answers in their minds and respond to you. And it is very, very important. Pauses are the most important thing in public speaking. So take a pause. So these are the 3 elements of voice: pitch, pace, pause. 3 P's. Very easy to understand. Many of my students asked me, ma'am, what should we do to have a clear voice? Are there any exercises? Yes, there are. I was working with radio, and though I won't suggest you to do this, all the radio jockeys, if you have heard their voices, they have this, very strong, soothing, yet very, very pleasant voice, right? And I always used to wonder that what do they do to have this kind of voice? Before they go for their sessions, they smoke. I'm not asking you to smoke, but this is one of the techniques. You don't have to do it. I'll give you a better technique than that. What you need to do is, before any session, take warm water in a glass, lukewarm water, pinch lemon and gargle. You don't have to drink it, just gargle 3 to 4 times before your session to make your voice clear. And this could be repeated every single morning. Okay. Second thing is some exercises that you can do. If you can do it right now, well and good, but I'll just demonstrate it and you can see. If you have attended yoga sessions, this is one of the yoga techniques that they teach, is to close your ears with the thumb and keep rest of the fingers on the forehead. And then you have to make a sound as if the bee is humming. It's the humming yoga or humming exercise, we call it. And you will feel all the nerves vibrating in your brain. Okay, though it vibrates in the brain, it opens the vocal cords. A very, very important exercise. The third exercise that I tell my students to do is, you breathe in. Okay, take the air in your tummy, and while exhaling, say something. Right? So breathe in, and while exhaling, you say, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? And now this, what happens then is, your voice starts coming from the navel point. Now you may laugh at me when I will say that, but beware. As a speaker, your voice should not come from the throat. It should come from the navel point. Very, very important. Most of the people, they don't focus on this. Most of the people, they don't know about it. But this is what you need to do as a speaker. Okay, so to improve your voice quality, do breathing exercises and make sure that your voice comes out from the navel point and not from your throat. Okay, so this was all about voice. The second thing in delivery is your body language. Okay, guys, you might be very smart. You might be very confident. You might be very well experienced. But let me tell you, your body language gives out a lot of wrong messages to the people who are watching you, right? So when you sit in front of your interviewer thinking that you know it all, and if your interviewer is an expert in body language, he will read out the negative messages that you are giving out. So beware, your body speaks, okay? And you need to know how to control the language of your body. And how to do that. And this is applicable everywhere, right? In your interviews, when you are doing a public speaking session or presenting something, you need to take care of these things. Number one is your posture. How do you stand? You know, when somebody asks you to stand and give an answer, how do you get up? You need to take care that your shoulders should not be drooping down like this. Okay, you should not be standing tummy out and your shoulders are like this. You have lost all the hopes in the world and there is nothing to do. No, your shoulders should be up. Okay, and you need to have a straight posture. Not rigid like military officers, no, but straight. Why is this posture so important? Because it helps in breathing properly. And when you breathe properly, your voice will come out effectively. So somebody says, okay, Shruti, get up. And what is the answer? You should be standing straight and says, sir, this is the answer. Now the voice comes out effectively when you have the correct posture. So make sure that you have a correct posture. Second is gestures. Okay, gestures is nothing but the movement of your hands, how you move your hands. It matters a lot, right? So when an interviewer asks you something and you extend your hand and says that, sir, that happened long ago, but I'm okay. Now, look at your hands. It gives a very positive message when you extend your hands and say something. You don't have to be dramatic. You don't have to dance in front of them, but make sure that you use your hands. Your hands should be used. It should not be, kept aside as a useless stuff. No. Okay. So make sure you have important gestures while talking to someone. Third thing that you need to take care of is facial expressions. How important it is to have the correct expression on your face. Just like the correct expression in your voice, you need to have a correct expression on your face. So when somebody asks you, how are you doing today? And you keep a sad face and say, I'm fine. Okay. And when you present a report and say that, sir, our company incurred losses this year, and you're smiling, what do you think your manager will do? Yeah. So you need to have a correct expression on your face when you are presenting a report or interview. You are there in the interview. Make sure that your expression matches what you are saying. There should not be a mismatch between the words that come out of your mouth and your expression. Clear? Next thing is eye contact. Eye contact. Very important. When somebody is talking to you and you're looking down, counting the tiles, or you're looking up, checking the ceiling fan, he will not be interested in talking to you. Okay? Especially during interviews, if you're doing that, they would think that you are lying. So you need to make eye contact with everybody. So when you are doing a session, when you are speaking in public, presenting a report, make sure that you look at your managers. Make sure that you look at the people sitting over there. Very, very important, because if you have no eye contact, that means you have lost the connection with your audience. Okay? So these are the things that we need to take care of when it comes to content, the things that you're presenting, and how you are presenting. So your voice and your body language. Now, you may ask that, how can I shed the inhibitions that I have and become a good speaker? Because most of us who are already good speakers, once they were all scared of public speaking, right? Even I was scared of public speaking. Mahatma Gandhi was scared of public speaking. Winston Churchill was scared of public speaking, but they were all great orators. So how did they do it, right? You may ask this question, how can I do this, ma'am? I want to be a speaker. I want to improve my public speaking skills. Number one, speak. If you don't speak, how will you improve, right? Now, if you are a good artist, you paint well, and if you want to become a very good painter, what will you do? You will paint, correct? If you are a singer, and if you want to improve your singing skills, what will you do? You will sing. So in the same way, if you want to be a speaker, you need to start speaking. Now, the next question is, where can I speak? Who will give me an opportunity to speak? Sir, we are living in the era of social media platforms. Do you need any other platform to speak? You have a great mobile phone in your hand, record yourself, put it on social media, you may get a lot of feedback and start doing it. Okay, so this is one way of improving your speaking skills. Number one, speak on these platforms and get feedback. Second thing is to get a mentor. Okay, now when I say get a mentor, I'm not asking you to, talk to your 60-year-old neighbor because he's a senior person, he can mentor me. No. Mentor in this area should be someone who has already done that, who knows it. Okay, if you want to become an athlete, you will go to a coach who is good at athletics, right? So in the same way, somebody who is good at public speaking, who has done that, who knows the nitty-gritty of public speaking, go to that person and make that person a mentor. who can give you guidance, who can support you, give you proper feedback. Okay? Join a club. Third thing is join a club. Now, which club? There are a lot of speaking clubs in India. There are a lot of public speaking clubs, or communities or organization associations that can give you opportunity to speak. If not, you can join Toastmasters Club. We all are Toastmasters. Now, Toastmasters International is a non-profit organization that help individuals improve their public speaking skills. And in India, there are ample number of Toastmasters Club. You will find one in your area, so just try to find it on Google. Okay, so join a club. Attend workshops. Now, in these times, everything is online. Everything is happening online, and there are a lot of free online workshops on public speaking or communication and leadership skills. So try to attend those workshops and work on your public speaking skills. Because guys, I remember when I had started this session here in Qatar in one of the associations, the kids were not ready to attend the workshop. The parents were not ready because parents thought that, it is good to send my kid for dancing, to learn dancing. It is good for, for them to learn singing, which they are not going to use in their life anymore. They will just earn the certificate and they will show it off and that's it. But they were not ready to learn public speaking because they don't know the importance of public speaking. Somebody was telling me in the meeting with Pradeep ji and Nirlab Bhatt ji, I remember, was it Hansraj ji? I don't know. He was saying that public speaking is not a soft skill anymore. It is a hard skill, one of the mandatory skills. And you will not believe, as I said, that many companies like PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, they review the performance based on these skills. And gone are the days when accountants were supposed to sit on a desk and, write reports and tally balance sheets and all. No, you have to present reports. And only when somebody amongst you will be able to do it, you will see him rising in his career. So make sure that you improve the skill. You can always contact me. You can always write to me. If you need any help in improving your public speaking skills, then I'll be there. I'll definitely help you. But never ever ignore that. It is one of the very important skills that you need to have at this moment to grow in your career. And don't worry, it is as easy as the rules of debit and credit. Yes, you just have to learn the basics and apply it. That's it, right? So that was from my side. And yes, one more tips that I wanted to give you, because these days we present virtually, right, on a virtual platform. So one question that I have always got from my students that, ma'am, you always talk about eye contact. How can we make eye contact in a virtual platform? Nothing. Just look directly into the camera. So when I'm looking directly into the camera, you will get a feeling that I'm looking at you. But now below this, the screen, I can see the screen of Nirlab Bhatt. I can see the screen of Pradeep ji. When I will look there and talk to them, would you get a feeling that I'm talking to you? No, you will not. Okay. So to make eye contact on a virtual platform, you have to look directly into the camera. That is one thing. Second thing is, in a virtual platform, you only have your face and voice. So make use of it. Make your face and voice as expressive as possible. And whenever you have to present a report or whenever you have to face a question in an interview, don't rush, okay? Don't try to give an answer immediately. Look at the person, smile, okay? And then give the answer, right? And be confident. Always keep your shoulders up. Focus on your body language, because your body language gives a lot of wrong messages, even if you're confident. These are some simple tips from my side, and I will hand it back to Pradeep ji for the questions and answers round. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Except accountancy, okay? I'm not going to answer any accountancy questions. Yeah.
Mr. Pradeep, are you there?
Yeah, I think he got.
Mr. Pradeep, you are on mute. Please unmute
Uh,
yourself.
yeah. Thank you so much. My sincere apologies. I was speaking without unmuting myself. I thought I'm on unmute. Yeah. So there was a question which was raised that the camera is below the screen. So when the candidates are looking at that, it appears that they are looking up, right? I'm not sure if that has been answered properly or they are satisfied yet. If you can
Yeah.
throw some light.
Okay, I'll tell you. Whenever you're talking on a virtual platform, you need to use a webcam. Okay, it can be an inbuilt webcam or you need to bring an external device. Make sure when you place the camera should be placed at this level. Okay, now what does that mean? That means that you need to have a higher platform. So you can use a high level table. Okay, now what am I doing right now? I have a table. On the table, I have a stool. On the stool, I have 3 books. And on those 3 books, I have kept my laptop to bring it to this level. When your camera will be this level, then only it will be possible for you to make a direct eye contact. Otherwise, if you keep it down and you will look down and you think that, oh, I'm looking into the camera, I'm making an eye contact. No, you are looking down and everybody can feel it. So make sure that you place your camera at this level so that when you will look into the camera, it will be a direct contact. Yeah.
Yes. So next question we have is from Kanu. He is asking, while speaking, the volume of my voice gets automatically low. How to maintain consistency in my audio volume?
Okay, it is because there are 2 reasons. Either you talk too much, that means you have got too many words when you are talking, okay, because of which you are facing a shortage of breath. Okay, when it happens, our voice goes low, and it happens with me also when I have to talk a lot, especially in contests. So that is why the breathing exercises are very important, and that is why I said you need to do an exercise, breathe in and say something while breathing it out, and say how your voice goes. If it goes low, you need to practice it better so that when you are talking, you can breathe and you can talk as well. Okay, and whenever you're presenting something, make sure, Kanu, that you have less words, because if you have too many words, this will happen. So cut or reduce the words that you have, and this will be done. Okay, you will be okay.
Yes, Srishti is asking, can you differentiate between hands and jazz hands when we talk about gestures?
Gestures.
Hands and jazz hands. So
Jazz hands.
Yeah.
What did she mean by jazz hands?
I'm not really sure. So, Srishti, you can clarify what do you mean by jazz hands, and we will take this up. She has another question next just to it. If you can give some suggestions of laughing at places publicly when we are not supposed to.
Okay. Now that's okay. Srishti, if you meant by gestures, okay, I did not understand what do you mean by jazz hands. I'll tell you. It is called gestures. Okay, gestures, gestures. Gestures are nothing but the movements of your hands, head, and shoulders. Okay. Now, when you are talking to somebody, even when you are conversing, normal talk, okay, even with your friends and everyone, when you're you need to use your hands. Okay, your hands is an expression. So when you say that, okay, and we do that. I went there and it happened, right? So we make it interesting. So when you will use your hands, it becomes interesting. Now, how can you use it effectively in a presentation? For example, and I'm just, because of the lack of the time, I'll just explain it in brief. We have 4 different types of gestures, okay? We call it descriptive gestures when we have to describe something like location, shape, size. Then we have emphatic gesture when we emphasize on something. So if you have to say, I was so angry. Now here, by doing this, I'm expressing my anger. So this is emphatic gesture. Now, again, when you're presenting something and you have to get an answer from your audience, you will say, how many of you believe that this balance sheet is right? So you have raised your hand to get a response from your audience. So when you will raise your hand, they will also somebody will raise their hand. Okay, so this is what we call prompting gesture. And the last gesture is suggestive gesture, when we suggest an emotion. For example, if you ask me something and I say, I don't know. Now here I'm suggesting an emotion that I don't know. So this is called suggestive gestures. You can use it in your interview also, but don't overdo it, okay? Because as I said, body language is a very, very important thing. Now, the next question, laughing. There is no harm in laughing, okay? If you think that you cannot control your laughter while mentioning a joke, you can laugh, right? And it is okay, because sometimes when you will laugh, people will laugh, okay? So it is okay. Don't worry about it that you tell a joke and you are standing like this. No. If you feel like laughing, you can do that, okay? So feel free to do it. That is a natural response, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so she clarified, she said that jazz hands means when you are fast, moving your hands too fast. So that's what she meant by that.
You need to control that system.
Actually, jazz hands means that in a musical composer does it when he is composing a music. That is jazz hands. Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like this. Avoid that, okay? That is what I said. You should not be bringing in those dance movements when you are using your hands. You have to use it effectively first. Second, it should be natural, right? So when I see, look at my hands. When I say that it should be natural, it is coming along with the words. So it should not be that I'm not doing that. Oh, it was natural. No, you should not do like that, okay? So make sure that you avoid such kind of body movements or hand movements, and whenever you use your hands, it should be very natural as per the words that come out of your mouth, and it should be timely. When I say timely, it means that when you say small, the small should come at the right time. It should not be that you say that, oh, he was so small, and after 2 seconds you realize that, oh, I didn't use my hand, and then you will pick your, bring your hand like this. No, it should be timely. So avoid all those jazz hands movement. Thank you. I learned a new thing today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Harmeet is asking, I think this question was asked earlier also to Gulneet, that whether it's okay to use headphones in interview. She answered it yes. So quickly, if you can answer.
Okay, headphone. You need to make your interviewer understand why you are using your headphone. Use your headphone only if you feel that your audio system in the computer is not working properly, and you have to use the headphone, and please make it clear to the interviewer or to whoever you are reporting to, okay? So they should not feel that, why is this guy doing this? Though people understand, especially on a virtual platform, that there must be some audio issues. But before doing it, you can make it clear either via chat or just by telling the person that, okay, I have some issue with my audio and I'm using my headphones. There is no harm in using it. Yeah.
So Chetan asked whether Toastmasters can help him crack interview in 8 to 10 days. The answer is no, as per me. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It will help you to improve your public speaking skills. And when you improve your public speaking skills, you will crack any interview. Yeah, but Toastmasters will not help you to crack the interview in 8 to 10 days. No.
Yeah. So next, Tritesh is asking, how much time will a fresher CA take to get good public skills?
Let me tell you, we all are speakers. Because we are speaking, right? We all are speakers. We have learned speaking at an early age. But public speaking skills, it's a skill. Like any other skill that you have learned, you need to learn it, okay? It depends on your dedication and commitment. How much time do you dedicate to improve a skill? For example, if you're learning guitar, and if you're so passionate, so committed, and daily you're practicing and you're attending the classes, you will become a good guitarist in a couple of months, right? It's in the same way. So how much time do you dedicate to learning this skill, and the commitment, and the practice that you do, the feedback that you receive from other people? It all depends on that. Otherwise, it's not that you have attended a session, you got a certificate, and now I'm a public speaker. No, you need to practice it. It depends on your dedication and the time you devote. Yeah.
Apeksha is asking whether it's okay to wear a blazer in interview. Female candidate, is it okay for female candidate to wear a blazer?
In an interview, we always have to wear a formal attire. Okay. Now, in formal attire, female can wear a proper cotton sari, a proper cotton salwar suit, and a blazer, proper white or light colored shirt, and trousers. Please avoid wearing jeans. Okay, so you can wear blazer, but make sure that along with the blazer, you wear a proper light colored shirt and trousers and not jeans. Yes, you can wear.
Yeah. Malika is saying that my hands and legs start shaking. So what should I do about it?
Okay. See, as I said, public speaking, the fear of public speaking is the second, after death. This is what people are most scared of, public speaking. Legs will shake. Even when I'm prepared so much, even after I have been doing this for so many years, your legs will shake, and you need to have that little fear. Then only you will perform well. Now, how to control this? Number one is preparation. As I said, you need to prepare a lot. Never ever go for a public speaking session without preparation. So whatever topic you're going to present, whatever presentation you're going to do, prepare it well. So much so that even when your eyes are closed and someone asks you, you will start, doing that session in your dreams. It should be like that. Second is practice. The more you practice, the more you will become an expert. Practice in front of your friends, practice in front of your family, record it on your mobile, watch the video and see how you look, how you present it. And then, this is how you need to practice it. So these are the only two things that you need to do to stop that shaking of legs and shivering, right? Preparation and practice. And it will come. Where you need to take opportunities to speak. So speak more often and you will become a good speaker. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Ranganathan sir, you would have to step in. Apeksha is saying that she's not able to download the presentation in which she has been shortlisted by a company. So how to help her out?
No, she has given her number. I will because the last date is over. Last date is over. I will help her back end. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So there are a couple of more questions we will discuss about it. So all these questions which you are listing here will discuss with you. Now this question Mahesh is asking, this was asked earlier also, can we use a blurred background? This was asked earlier also. Yeah.
Background, when it comes to virtual platform, you can see my background, okay? There were a lot of pictures here. I moved it. The reason is when you're talking to somebody on a virtual platform, let's say you are attending an interview and you have got a lot of stuff there. Now, in order to hide that, you make it blur, right? You think it's a great idea? No. It's not a great idea because it is a distraction. Whether it is blurred, whether it is filled with a lot of photographs, it is always a distraction. So make sure whenever you are attending an interview or a presentation on an online platform, you sit in front of a clean background. Please don't make it blur. Please don't use any virtual background. Please don't sit in, with lot of photographs of celebrities and plants hanging. Please don't do that. So make sure that you sit in front of a clean and clear background to avoid distractions.
Yeah, Isha, I think someone else also had asked, I may have missed. Isha is saying that when the interview starts, whether we should sit or stand. And the other question I think which was there was whether we should give interviews standing or sitting, like
no,
you are standing.
Okay, interviews are always given sitting, right? I have never given an interview standing. Yes, when you are into public speaking, you have to stand and speak. Nobody sits and speak unless you have a problem in your legs, okay? So you can sit and attend your interview. But again, when you sit, okay, make sure that you're sitting and you are again, the webcam is at your head level. You have proper lighting so that the interviewer can see your face clearly, your expressions clearly. So make sure that you have proper lighting. I am using this, this light here so that it is clear. Proper lighting and the audio system is working properly. So as somebody had asked that, can we use headphone? Yes, if you have an audio issue, use headphone. But please sit. And when you sit, again, take care of your posture. Don't sit like this. Okay, always sit with your shoulders up and sit straight and look directly into the camera. You don't have to look at the screen to look at the interviewer. Look directly into the camera and answer the questions.
Yeah. Nafis is asking whether we should use laptop mic or external mic.
Okay, if you have issue in laptop mic, because in my laptop there is an issue, the sound goes blurred, or sometimes it gets stuck. If you have a very good laptop with a very good inbuilt audio system, it's okay. If you're using MacBook or something like that, it's okay. But if you are not, then I would suggest that use an external device. Don't get into the risk of getting stuck in between. Use an external device only if your audio is not working in the laptop properly.
Yeah, Sumi is asking, I hesitate a lot during public speaking. How can I overcome it?
Why do you hesitate? Why do people hesitate? People hesitate not because they're scared of speaking, because they're scared of the response that they are going to get. Okay? They think that if I say something wrong, Nirlep would make fun of me. How will I face him tomorrow? Right? This is the scare. This is the fear that most of the people have. Who cares? Who cares? Do you care? Unless and until you take that one step to speak up, you will never speak. You will just sit there thinking that I have to speak, I have to speak, I have to speak. You will fail. Okay? You will say something stupid. But that is okay. I have said n number of stupid things in my public speaking sessions. But it's okay. People would laugh, or somebody would give me a feedback that Nisha, that was wrong. You shouldn't have said that. Next time I will improve. You need to take that first step. So don't hesitate. Just remind yourself, I don't care if people laugh. And go ahead. You need to take that first step, okay? So just do it. One time you will fail. Second time you will fail. Third time you will improve and you will do better. I am telling you. So just do it.
Yeah. Naman is asking, please guide about how to start and conclude a presentation.
Okay. As I said, when you're presenting something, you need to structure it. Okay. When we talk about structuring a presentation, there are three things that we look into. Is the opening, the way, the thing that you said, how to start. Your starting should be such that you need to get the attention of your audience, right? So as I mentioned earlier, never apologize. Don't say that I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous today, I don't know how am I going to. Never apologize. Come up with a nice story. Come up with a nice joke to make people laugh and to, ease the nervousness and tension in the atmosphere, and then start your presentation. So in the beginning, your motto should be to get the attention of your audience. Okay. And for that, first of all, you should be excited and energetic to present the report. And second, don't ever start by apologizing. Start with a joke, or start with a nice story, or start with a question. Okay, you can simply ask, what is so special about today? Why are you all here today? Do you think I'm going to do a good presentation? Ask something, engage your audience, and then slowly start your presentation. That is how to start the presentation. How to conclude. When we conclude a presentation or a speech, what we do is we inculcate the core or the crux of the presentation in the conclusion and make it powerful. Let me tell you, and this is very, very important for all of you, is people will forget your introduction. Okay? People will forget your story. People will forget your jokes. They will never, ever forget your conclusion. Because that is the time most of your audience will be waking up, because they realize that it is going to end. Yes, right. Okay, so you need to make the conclusion powerful. Okay, how to conclude? Again, you can conclude with a question asking that this is the condition of the company right now. What do you think can be a better way to save the company? So just ask a question, let them think about it and come with the responses. So you can end with a question, or you can end with a very powerful statement saying that, okay, this happened, but I'm sure that we all will work together to make this organization better in the coming years. I'm just giving an example. So how to conclude? You can conclude with a positive and powerful statement, or you can conclude with a question for the audience to think about it and respond. So this is how you need to start and conclude your presentation.
Yeah. Nisha, I think one doubt is not clear regarding blazer. Apeksha has reminded me almost 5 times. She's still asking that blazer during interview. So if you can answer it again clearly so that she can.
Yeah. Apeksha, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apeksha.
Apeksha, as I said, in an interview, we always have to wear a formal attire, right? Now, since we all come from India, for Indian female, the formal attire can be a cotton sari, a light colored sari, or a light colored salwar suit. Now, if you want to wear a blazer, definitely you can wear a blazer, okay? But make sure that along with the blazer, you wear a light color shirt, okay? Proper light color shirt with no designs or, not like this. Otherwise, the interviewer will be looking at the pictures and the designs on your t-shirt or shirt. Okay, so make sure that it's clear, clean, light colored shirt and trousers. It can be cotton trousers or whatever trousers and not jeans. Make sure that, with blazer, don't wear jeans, especially for interviews and all these presentations. So definitely you can wear blazers. But again, when we say blazers, there are different types of blazers, okay? There are casual blazers also with all those designs and red color and bright magenta. No, white or off-white or gray. These are the 3 colors that you need to wear during an interview. Yeah.
Pragati, your question is received. We'll see that. Right, Pragati? Payal and Krishna had asked about sitting or standing, which has already been answered. Malika, your question is also answered now. Poonam is asking your contact details, which will be anyway shared at the end. Malika, your question, you again reminded it's answered. Apeksha, your question is answered now. Nafis is asking, can I wear just formal shirt, pant without tie and blazer coat? I think, Nafis, this was answered earlier. That if you have a suit, you wear. If you don't have a suit, then white shirt and tie is fine. It depends upon you, right? What you are comfortable with. But yeah, depending upon if the suit you have. Right, Nisha? I think.
Yeah. And if you don't have a tie or tie, everybody has a tie. There is, what is the problem in wearing a tie? You can do it, okay? But make sure that when your shirts should not have dark stripes because it gets reflected in the camera and it again is a distraction. So wear clean white stripes with white shirt with no stripes, not white, gray or light colored shirts because it's an interview, and with no designs and stripes and all because it gets reflected in the camera. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Nisha, Himanshi has a question regarding this filler words. He's saying in between, though, when you're prepared with content. So before you shed light on it, I would like to say, Himanshi, this goes with practice. And even sometimes many experienced speakers have these filler words. So you should not bother until, you are fully prepared to overcome it, which will happen in Toastmasters. Yeah, Nisha, what's your viewpoint?
Yes, as you said, it comes with practice. Even we do the same, right? At times, when we are doing a presentation, sometimes this o, e comes, okay? Now, let me tell you, this is still okay, okay? You should not be using words like, I know, well, okay, right? I have this habit of saying right all the time. But make sure that you do not use these kind of words. To an extent is okay, not too much. Now, it should not be that after every word you are saying and then no. Make sure that you do not do that, and it comes with practice only, okay? Is still okay, but avoid words like I know, you know, well, right. These kind of words, just avoid it, and it will come with practice. The more you talk, you will be better.
Anchal has raised one very critical point. She says, how do we handle extempore before public speaking? I think you can throw light on the stable topics, but I would like to share one point here, because these, like I said, that's a filler word, which we should not use. Sometimes we will be knowing that most of the questions what we have to prepare. So in Toastmasters, extempore table topics is extempore, where we speak for 2 minutes. But there is also a understanding that if I know that this topic, if for 2 minutes I have to speak, then I may even take 2 weeks to prepare for it. The longer time I have to spend in speaking, the less time I may need for a preparation, but more time. But so there are two aspects of it. If you have been given a question on the front, then how we handle table topics is the best thing. But if you already know that this question is there, this topic is there, and you have to pass that message in 2 minutes, then it needs a good preparation. Yes, Nisha, your viewpoint.
Okay, now as Prabdeep ji said that if you already know the answer, then you can prepare it. But in any case, you get a question that you're not aware of, okay, all of a sudden, how to tackle it? Guys, do you know Oreo biscuit? Right? Just remember Oreo biscuit. Okay, what is the spelling of Oreo? O-R-E-O. Okay, remember that. So O starts with your opinion. So if somebody asks you a question, let's say that, what do you understand? Or okay, what do you, what is your viewpoint on accounting principles? I'm just giving an example. So starts with O. O is your opinion. First, you state your opinion, whether you agree with the accounting principles or not. State your opinion first, and you can say that, yes, I agree, I really agree with these accounting principles. State your opinion. Then comes R. R stands for reason. Why are you saying that you agree with these principles? You have to give your reason. Okay, why did I say that? Give your reason. Then comes E. E stands for examples. Then you give examples to justify your reason. Why did I say that? Give examples. And in the end, again, state your opinion. O. Okay, so it should be opinion, reasons, examples, opinion. Whatever question comes to you, think for a couple of seconds and present your answer in this format. First, you state your opinion like yes or no, whether you agree or you don't agree. Then you tell them the reason why you said that, present the examples to support it, and again state your opinion. This is how you tackle extempore questions or the questions on the, on the spot.
Yes, so Harneet, your queries received PPT is not downloadable. I think that will be addressed. Jitendra, you have raised that mock interview question. You were asking if I need to check in spam. You can check in spam. A communication to all who will be part of mock has been given, so you can properly check all your folders in the emails. If you are there, then you must have got an email. Then we have a question by Anshul. How should we handle extempore? That is answered. A black color blazer Malika is asking. Is that okay?
Yes,
Nisha?
it is all. Yeah, it is okay. It is fine.
Sumi, how I can improve communication skills? That I think is answered, dear. Pankaj is asking how can we use wired earphone, not headphone, while being interviewed. I think this is also answered.
Yeah, that is okay. See, I told you, if your audio system is not working properly, you have, I would say you are free or all the rights to use a headphone, but we don't know how the interviewer will react. So you need to tell them, sir, this is the problem and that is why I'm using the headphone. That's it. Otherwise, you can use it. No problem.
Yeah, so Srishti has raised a question that how we can work on filler words. I believe that this cannot happen in a small time, Srishti. Nirlip is here. Once I was a general evaluator in a Toastmasters meeting, and I was already 7-8 months in Toastmasters. No one counts filler words for a general evaluator. When I went down the stage, one person handed me that you had so many filler words. So it doesn't happen in few days. If Nisha, you have some trick for that it can happen in just 5 days, I will be also obliged.
No, the thing is, when Srishti is asking this question, I'm sure that, she's aware that she uses filler words, right? It is you being mindful of using those words. Okay, if you are aware that I'm a person that I'm using it, and the second thing is you need to be accountable. So you need to have an accountability partner who would tell you that, okay, you just use the filler word. Okay, somebody to tell you, a friend or someone. That is the only way how you will reduce it. Okay, by practicing it. So you need to be mindful of, okay, I'm using a filler word, I need to stop it. And that will only come by practice, Shrishti. As Pradeep ji said, he has been talking for almost 2 or 3 hours. I heard so many you know when he was talking. So it happens. You have to be very mindful and careful about your filler words, and make somebody an accountability partner who would pinpoint that you are using it, and that is only how you will reduce it. Otherwise, it is not going to happen.
Yes. So Dharma is asking that whether girls can wear just a shirt without blazer.
Dharma is a girl?
Yeah, she's a girl. She's connected to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, see, you can wear, but it should be a decent wear. Okay. And you see, you all are grown-up adults. You know how to wear proper dress when it comes to interview. You can wear a shirt, but it should be a proper, decent top, and with light colored, because as I said, with stripes and designs, it's a distraction. So yes, definitely you can wear it. Make sure that you choose light colors like white, gray, light pink, light yellow. You can use it. Yes.
Pankaj, you had asked regarding mock deer, that has already been answered. Jitendra is asking a question for his friend. Jitendra, I hope Megha is also a CA. We are helping CAs here right now. Keeps content. My friend Megha keeps content. She has good presentation skills, but she feels underconfident. Can you guide her overcome her underconfidence regarding presentation skills? That comes with practice.
No, it comes with practice, and to improve your confidence, as I said, that you need to present before presenting it to the final audience. Present it before your family or friends, and take the feedback. So once you will get the hang of the audience, then you will be able to present it to a larger audience. Number one. Second is, never ever start immediately. Okay, and the most important thing is, you need to understand that you are the smartest person in that room. Okay, whatever you know, the audience does not know. Okay, so it is your content. You know it better than anyone else. You are the smartest person, so you don't have to worry about their response. Next thing is, you don't feel confident. Only you know that. Okay, the other people don't know that. Right? So if you keep on thinking that I am not confident, what will happen? You will be nervous. And when you will be nervous, you will not be able to present it properly. And then the audience will understand, okay, this girl is nervous. She is not confident. So fake confidence, fake it until you make it. So what you have to do is, when you are there presenting something, just take a look at your audience. Okay, don't start immediately. I always suggest the 4S. Stand, stare, smile, and then speak. When you smile, people will smile at you. And when they will smile at you, you will establish a connection with them. And as I said, always start with a joke or a simple story, and then go ahead. And remember, nobody knows you are nervous. Nobody knows that you are not confident. And nobody knows your content, okay? So remember these 3 things and go ahead and present it. You will be confident and you will present it effectively. Yeah.
Right. Ranganathan sir, we are continuously getting questions regarding mock interview, whether it will be video based, and many are typing that PPT is not downloading. So how? Yes, sir.
Okay, I will answer these 2 questions here. Mock interviews are not held for everyone. It is held for very few people, and whosoever we are going to hold it, we will send a mail. It has to start from tomorrow for 3 days. So only those people who receive a mail will also receive the video link. And as regards PPT, it appears to be a technical problem. After the session is over, I will have it rectified.
Right, sir. Sir, there was one girl, I think Priyanka or someone, who could not accept the offer on time, so that we can separately address. Yeah.
That
If
also I
any.
answered. I will help her back end. No issue.
I hope I have not missed. We have still 6 minutes to go. I hope I have not disappointed anyone. All the questions have been taken. Yeah, so Nisha, you can share your contact details. And yeah, before you share contact details, you have already shared how we can improve voice. I also wanted to share that, yesterday's speaker, Singaraju and Nedlib, her our chair of the chapter, they are working together on answering the questions which were left and also giving you a small white paper. In that, there will be around 10 techniques which will be given regarding how you can improve your voice. I'm also looking forward to it. So, yeah, Nisha, so you can share your contact details, and meanwhile, I will check what I have missed and I will ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just share the screen. I
One
had written
question,
here.
Nisha, if I can ask
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
knowledge. See, I know you since maybe 8-9 years, and I have seen that in the public speaking or a professional speech, the dictions are very important for pronunciation. Okay, any tip to share with CAs to how to improve the diction, the way they speak English and pronunciation and all?
Okay. See, it is very important that we take care of pronunciations and grammar. Both are important. Okay. Now, I always tell my students that, don't try to be a Shashi Tharoor when you're presenting something, right? Because in an interview, Shashi Tharoor asked Sudha Murthy, why do you write in such simple language? So Sudha Murthy said, see, I want people to read and understand what I have written. It's the same with public speaking. Your audience should be able to understand what you're saying. So you don't have to, use bombastic, language and big words, and no. Always stick to simple words, short sentences, short paragraphs. It will be easier for you to memorize. It will be easier for them to understand. Okay, that is how you need to keep simple language, simplicity in your language. That is one thing. Second thing, in terms of pronunciation, we all come from, a city, a country where English is not our native language, but we are blessed with some beautiful apps and platforms where we can check the pronunciation. So if you are doing a presentation, you think that I do not know the pronunciation of this particular word, why don't you check it on YouTube or Google and understand the pronunciation? They have very clearly, explained the pronunciation. There are a lot of YouTube channels that do it. Check the pronunciation, practice it well, okay, and then present it. Now, if you find it difficult to pronounce a word, find a synonym. That means find another word for it that has the same meaning but which is simpler to pronounce. For example, if I say, Nirlap is a beguiling guy. Beguiling. What is the meaning of beguiling? Okay, many of us would not understand. But if I say that Nirlap is a cheerful guy, he's a handsome person, easy, we understood, right? So try to make it simpler. So there are only two ways. Check the pronunciation. After checking the pronunciation, even then if you find it difficult, then find a simpler word with the same meaning and present it. Don't go for tough words, okay? But make sure that your grammar is correct. And when I say grammar, you don't have to go and check your grammar books of your school and, but simple, is, was, are, were. Take care of these things and practice it. English is a language, okay? And like any other language, you will only learn it when you will speak. Otherwise, you're not going to learn it. So practice speaking and you will be better.
Thanks. It's very useful. Thank you.
Yeah, I again said Nisha, if we go to the Google and we have American pronunciation, I'm using it now quite often. We don't get we have a British and American both, but we are given an opportunity to practice American pronunciation,
Yeah,
not
one
British.
minute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
please. we are able to practice American. So I think that most of Indians, we are using American English only. So I think going into the Google and practicing American pronunciation should be sufficient, I believe, right?
Yes, but Prabdeep ji, we Indians follow British English, not American English.
We follow American.
So yes, and especially all these young students, we follow British English. Okay, so get only British English pronunciation, because there are a lot of things that Americans pronounce it completely in a different way. So
The
stick to British
largest
English.
e-commerce company is pronounced totally in a different way when we talk about American and British. Himanshi, your question will be answered, dear. All these technical questions will be carefully looked into it and they will be answered. Govind, can you please post your question again? The time is over, but we will take today 5 minutes extra. We have never taken that quickly. And this Malika is asking, can we ask interviewer on what points to improve after interview? I think this was asked earlier also. And
It
yeah.
depends on the interviewer too, right? After the interview session, when you get into a casual conversation, which is not a part of your interview, you may ask. But during the interview, when the interview session is going on, I would suggest just refrain from asking any sort of these questions, because we don't know what kind of an interviewer he is. Okay. And after the interview session, when you engage in a casual conversation and he is talking about your family and how's the day and all those stuff, you may ask. But you need to get a viewpoint, or get an understanding of the interviewer's personality, then only try to ask that question. Otherwise, refrain from asking these questions.
Right. Harneet, your question will be answered on 6th or 7th day, dear. I will take that up, or either regarding the different qualifications. And now the questions which are coming mostly, there are almost 30 questions which are typed, which are relating to everyone is having the same problem, any PPT download and all that. So those anyways will be addressed. Some have clarified on that. So please don't worry. These will be addressed. And last final thoughts, Nisha, before we end for the day.
Yeah, before that, I'd like to make a request to all the participants that in that email invitation, we are given a Google form for filling up the feedback. Kindly give feedback for the speakers also. We will share it with the speakers as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Isha ma'am specifically asked me whether I will get a feedback. Today I forgot to remind you that you have to get feedback for all the speakers. Though you are giving a lot of feedback on LinkedIn, but give the formal feedback also. Yeah. So yes, Nisha, final thoughts on your contact details. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me first share my contacts. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, it's coming on the way. Yeah, came. So everyone can click the pictures.
Yeah. Is it
yesterday someone had raised a query. You are from Doha. Singha is also from Doha. Someone was saying that there are 11 numbers. I reconfirmed from Singha that his number was correct, and already some of the students had reached, and he had spent time to help them out. But yeah, I would suggest that, when you are looking for a mentorship, just be mindful of when you are approaching, where you are approaching, right?
Yeah, see, we are 2.5 hours behind you, so you can contact me and send me a WhatsApp until 10 in Doha time, which will be 12:30 in India, obviously, and you all will be sleeping, so I don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, you can send me a messages. You can send messages or contact me at any time. I'm always online. Nirlap knows. So, is it visible? If you have taken the contact details, then I'll just stop sharing. I stop sharing now?
Yeah, please do. If anybody wants your contact number, the office will share with them. No problem at all.
Okay. All right. So shall I wind up now by saying thank you to each one of you, to everybody who's there. And as I mentioned that I'm not a chartered accountant, though I have a commerce background, and I'm scared. And I was worried that if you ask me a question related to cost accountancy, which I was watching the session of Ma'am Rushita, and I was like, oh my God, it's so tough. So guys, but public speaking is not that tough, okay? You can learn it, you can improve it. And as I said, it is very, very, very easy. My contact details are with you. You can always contact me. Even if it's a financial statement, I'll tell you how to make it creative and present it effectively in front of your managers or crack an interview. All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity once again. It's a great initiative, and all the very best to all the young students here. Back to
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Nisha. Thank you, Nirlip. We are very thankful to our chairman, sir, C.A. Hansraj Chukji, and our vice chairman, C.A. Durgesh Kabra, sir. Every minute which is passing is really making a difference, a great difference in our lives, and would like to pass a message to the students. Do not worry about technicalities. They will get resolved, and make use of this session. Yeah, some of the questions today asked that whether I can change 10 days spelling. That's not possible. Some things are long process. But do not worry about it, as I'm telling you. I am very happy to see your questions have gone with regard to the attempts, small firms. You are really going now deep into the subjects. Move on, prepare well, and I'm sure you all will fly high. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ranganathan sir, any message, sir, to be passed?
No, nothing. Absolutely fantastic. Public speaking session was wonderful session. Costing is not my subject, but I enjoyed public speaking session a lot. Thank you so very much. Very grateful to all.
Thank you, sir. So, students, stay safe, take care. No, you are fellows now, fellow professionals, but students of this session, take care, stay safe. We will see you tomorrow with on a very important topic by one of the most senior, in age, our CATP Anand, who always loved to learn and share his learning. So he will be taking us into a different journey for 180 minutes. Do not miss it, and we will be back with you tomorrow. Have a
Thank you,
good evening.
Thank you.
Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.